Chapter 251. After Miru Xian cleaned up the floor that was dirted by the fight, she took a dessert from the counter and handed it to Su Yun. "It's on me." Su Yun smiled. "Sorry, I just dirted the shop, and you're still treating me to food? If it weren't for you, I really don't know what to do." Miru Xian shrugged and pouted. "Anyway, I have to mop the floor many times every day, so it's nothing." Su Yun didn't stand on ceremony. He tasted the small cake that was given to him for free. It tasted pretty good. "Are you really here to travel? Why aren't you afraid of those people? They don't look like good people. Aren't you afraid that they'll take revenge on you?" Miru Xian looked worried. Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Su Yun thought for a moment. "If I was worried about them taking revenge on me, I would have run away a long time ago. I wouldn't stay here and wait for them to come looking for me." Miru Xian nodded. Then, her eyes suddenly widened. She looked at Su Yun blankly. "What do you mean? Stay here and wait for them to come looking for revenge? Will they come back?" Su Yun looked at the flustered Miru Xian and said, "Do you think they'll leave so willingly after suffering a loss? Little girl, have you become stupid from all that school? I've never encountered such a situation. How would I know if they'll come back?" Miru Xian blushed. Not only because Su Yun doubted her lack of common sense, but also because Su Yun called her little girl. Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Even if you haven't experienced it, you should have seen movies, right? You've seen Young and Dangerous, right? No. Miru Xian continued to look confused. "Forget it then." Su Yun smiled. "But don't worry, I won't leave now. When they come back for revenge, they will come for me, not you, so you just have to hide. I'll try my best not to fight in the store. If I break anything, don't worry, I'll compensate you accordingly." After saying that, Su Yun took out his wallet first. "The coffee of the 3 people just now is also on me." Su Yun believed that any family with a little bit of money would not allow their children to do such things when they were still in school. Boys could do some exercise, but girls did not need to work at night for a monthly salary of 800 yuan. It was too dangerous. Miru Xian hurriedly pushed Su Yun's money back. "No, I'll pay for it, and your coffee is on me." "You're paying?" Su Yun was stunned. A few cups of coffee added up to more than 100 yuan, and there was also the small cake. "Doesn't that mean you don't have your salary for the past few days?" Miru Xian pouted. "I'm not short of money. This happened because of me, so of course I can't let you pay." Su Yun was just about to say something when he inadvertently saw the jewelry necklace on Miru Xian's neck. Su Yun had seen the same design before, because Ling Jieling also wore a similar necklace, a Bulgari, that seemed to be worth around 100,000 yuan. Damn. This was obviously the daughter of a rich family. She was working at a coffee shop with such a figure? He really did not know if this girl's brain was flooded with water. "You're not short of money, and you're still working here? Are you crazy? Did your head get caught in the door or kicked by a donkey?" Su Yun could not help but ask. Miru Xian was stunned at first, then very seriously said, "I'm in good health. I'm experiencing life, earning my own living." "Earning your own living? Then you don't care about the 100 yuan? People who really earn their own living will not ask for living expenses at home." Su Yun said bluntly, "You're wearing a necklace worth more than 100,000 yuan to work here. Aren't you afraid of being robbed?" Miru Xian quickly reached out to cover the necklace on her neck and said nervously, Who said this necklace is valuable? This is what I bought at a street stall, only 15 yuan. "I'll give you 150 yuan. Can you sell it to me?" Su Yun rolled his eyes. This girl was quite good at making things up. "Anyway, I'll experience my own life. I don't want others to interfere." Miru Xian said, "Since you know they'll come back for revenge, you should leave quickly. I'll also close the shop. At worst, the boss will take half a month's salary. I don't want you to be beaten up here." Su Yun smiled. She was indeed a child of a rich family, thinking that everything could be solved with a little money. He could guarantee that if they dared to close the shop and leave, it would not be a matter of half a month's salary. If I leave and you close the shop, I guarantee that they will dare to burn down the shop. What? Miru Xian trembled. What kind of joke was this? Was it so exaggerated? It was not a deep hatred. If you don't believe me, you can try. Su Yun still had a smile on his face. At worst, you can pay your boss tens of thousands of yuan for the renovation. That will solve the problem. Miru Xian listened and nodded repeatedly. Yes, yes, yes. Then we'll do as you say. Do you have tens of thousands of yuan to pay? Su Yun was speechless. He had not said those things to give her directions. Miru Xian still nodded. I can afford tens of thousands of yuan. Let's go quickly. I don't want to be blocked in the shop by those bad people. It's scary just thinking about it. If tens of thousands of yuan is not enough, I'll call my father and ask him to give me more. Money is not a problem anyway. At this time, several cars had driven up to the coffee shop and stopped in front of it. Su Yun looked out the window and smiled slightly. He said to Miru Xian, but it's too late now. Their people are already here. What? Miru Xian's jaw almost dropped. Was it that fast? Could this really be a movie? Even if the three punks wanted to call for help, it would take time. It had only been half an hour and people were already coming for revenge. Wasn't it too exaggerated? But this is also good. In fact, many times, problems can be solved without money. Su Yun smiled and stood up. He did not want to mess up the shop, so he walked out consciously. More than 20 people got out of the cars outside. The tattooed young man whose right foot was pierced by a dagger was standing beside a burly man. When he saw Su Yun take the initiative to walk out, the tattooed young man pointed at Su Yun's nose and shouted angrily, "Boss! It's this bastard who attacked us just now. This kid, he..." Before the young man finished speaking, the burly man slapped the tattooed young man 3 times on the spot before he fell to his knees. The tattooed young man looked at the angry boss with a blank face. He did not know what he had done wrong. The burly man was unable to restrain his anger. He directly raised his foot and stomped on the tattooed young man. The little punk did not dare to resist. He held his head and begged for mercy. He did not know why the boss was so angry. The others also looked at each other and did not dare to say a word. A few sharp-eyed people had already recognized the person who walked out of the coffee shop. They could not help but take in a cold breath. "Zhu Laohei, that's enough." Su Yun waved his hand and had a smile on his face. "Why do you appear everywhere?" Zhu Laohei's face became even darker. He was also puzzled. Why did Su Yun appear everywhere? What kind of bad luck did he walk on? It was as if he had been splashed with water. Just now, he had no choice but to kick his men. If Su Yun did not tell him to stop, Zhu Laohei would not dare to stop. Moreover, he was really angry. He had just escaped from the hands of this big Buddha in front of him, and now his men caused trouble and fell into his hands. This was clearly dragging him into the fire pit. "Grandpa Yen, this means that we are fated." Zhu Laohei rubbed his hands in front of his chest. "Grandpa Yen, my men have eyes but do not see. He is a blind man who only uses his eyes to breathe. I will go back and poke him blind." Ouch. Grandpa Yen, Okay, don't be troubled by this. Su Yun had already heard the conversation between the 3 young men. They were looking for young girls for Wang Rupiang to give to Green Ghost as a tribute, letting these bastards come out to find young girls to harm. This is what Wang Rupiang told you to do, right? Zhu Laohei nodded vigorously. Yes. Grandpa Yen, but I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to follow him anymore. I didn't have time to tell my subordinates, As he spoke, Zhu Laohei gave the tattooed man a vicious kick. These bastards are too self-aware. Su Yun pointed at Zhu Laohei's nose. I'll give you one last chance, Zhu Laohei. If you don't want to die, and don't want to go back to prison for the rest of your life, then start organizing all the evidence of Wang Rupiang's crimes. I want all the evidence of him using his power for personal gain or participating in the underworld. You should know what I do. I'm helping you, Zhu Laohei. Do you understand? Zhu Laohei's eyes widened as he exclaimed in his heart. So Grandpa Yen was here to deal with Wang Rupiying. He was a person who knew how to adapt to the situation. If he didn't jump off Wang Rupiying's boat now, sooner or later, he would capsize. Now that Su Yun gave him a chance to grab onto the rope, if he didn't, then he wouldn't be able to live the rest of his life. Even if he didn't go to prison, he would have to hide for the rest of his life. He would also have to live in fear that Grandpa Yen would take his life. Understood. Understood. Grandpa Yen, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Zhu Laohei nodded. I promise I won't let you down. Su Yun nodded. I'll give you 3 days to organize everything. Once you're done, send it directly to the front desk of the Waltz Hotel. You're now a tainted witness. If anyone comes to you for evidence, you should know what you have to do. This is your only chance. Do this well and make up for your mistakes. I'll help you plead for leniency. You don't have to worry about going in with Wang Rupiying and never coming out again. With Su Yun's guarantee, Zhu Laohei's heart felt a lot more at ease. Scram. Su Yun heavily spat out a word. Zhu Laohei quickly got on his horse and left with his tail between his legs. Su Yun sneered. He wouldn't help him plead for leniency. Zhu Laohei was a black-hearted person who dared to do anything. After not harming wild animals, he started harming people. This time, he would really be locked up for a long time. Anyway, this kind of person couldn't be changed. Letting him out would only bring disaster to the world. Chapter 252. Su Rouxian watched the scene outside nervously from inside the coffee shop. She really couldn't understand what kind of witchcraft Su Yun had used to make that rather ferocious-looking underworld boss nod and bow to him, obeying his every command. Finally, the people who came to smash the shop left. Su Yun returned to the coffee shop and shook the cup at her with a smile. Can I refill my latte? Others can't, but you can. Miru Xian smiled and turned on the hot milk machine. She said to Su Yun, It's not good to drink so much coffee at night. Are you going to drink here all night? Su Yun nodded. Yes, because I'm going to sit here all night. I need something to refresh myself. If you can find something better than coffee in your shop, I don't mind changing it. Miru Xian was stunned. If you want to refresh yourself, don't drink latte. I'll give you black coffee. No, no, no. I still like latte with more milk, mainly because I don't like coffee very much. Su Yun hurriedly said, So, you know. Miru Xian smiled slightly. Since you don't like coffee, why don't you have a pot of tea? But it says coffee shop outside. Su Yun looked at the coffee list with a blank face. Under dozens of densely packed coffees, he saw the words Westlake Longjing, Suzhou Jasmine, Anshi Tiguanyin, and Chimen Black Tea. Well, I think if you meet someone who orders latte in the future, you can ask him if he wants a pot of Suzhou Jasmine. Miru Xian couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh. She didn't stop making a cup of hot latte, but she also immediately brewed a pot of Suzhou Jasmine tea for Su Yun. When she put the tea and coffee on Su Yun's table at the same time, Su Yun pointed to the latte. It's on me. Miru Xian didn't refuse and took the latte. She also liked this kind of drink that could be said to be mixed with coffee and hot milk, so she felt that she was particularly congenial with Su Yun. Can you tell me what you did outside just now? Why was that mafia boss so afraid of you? Miru Xian said, I really want to know. If you tell me, next time I encounter this kind of situation, I can solve it myself. Su Yun shrugged and tasted the fragrant jasmine tea. I told him that if I found a phone booth and wore my red underwear outside, you wouldn't even have a chance to run away. Pfft. Miru Xian almost choked on her laughter. She said with a helpless and amused expression, They don't really think you're Superman, do they? Aren't they too stupid? Su Yun looked at Miru Xian without saying a word. Miru Xian's bright smile instantly turned into a stunned expression. Her voice also became serious. You're not really Superman, are you? I think you're still a little stupid. Su Yun put away his serious face. Miru Xian knew that she was deliberately played by Su Yun, but she didn't show the slightest sign of anger. Instead, she said with a serious face, "Well, so what if I'm stupid? In my heart, you're my superhero." Su Yun suddenly felt that the freshman girls were so naive. "What did you study at the University of Suzhou?" "I majored in broadcasting from the journalism department." Miru Xian smiled. "I think it's very cool to be a host. Of course, I'm referring to the host of an entertainment program, not a news program." Because I can see a lot of celebrities." Su Yun nodded. "Very cool ideal. You're from Suzhou?" "No, I'm from Yanjing." Miru Xian's answer was very straightforward. "Then why didn't you go to Yanjing University? Why did you come to Suzhou?" Su Yun didn't understand. "Yanjing University is probably better than Suzhou, right? Is it because Yanjing University's score is high? But for you Yanjing candidates, the score isn't high, right?" Miru Xian nodded. "There's no problem with my score. I just want to go to a place far away from home. I want to know if I can live well without my parents." Su Yun didn't expose her naive thoughts. Whether she could live well without her parents, she didn't need to go so far away. She only needed to tell her family, "Don't give me money anymore." Only when she cut off her source of income could she test whether she had really grown up. She didn't need to go to a place far away and still use the credit card her parents prepared for her every day. This wasn't independence at all. True independence was to be able to earn money to solve your own food and clothing problems. If you couldn't even do this, then don't talk about leaving your parents. Many college students seem to be so naive. Su Yun didn't care about this. He still hoped that students could focus on their studies. Since your parents don't need you to earn money, you just need to study hard. Learn your broadcasting skills well. Maybe you can really be an entertainment host in the future. Miru Xian shook her head bitterly. "My parents will definitely do everything they can to get me to be a news host. They definitely won't help me to be an entertainment host. Everything in this society needs connections. I don't have the confidence to be an entertainment host after graduation. If you don't try, how do you know you can't do it?" Su Yun smiled and wrote Arabic numbers on the table with his finger. "This is my phone number. Maybe I can help you when the time comes." Miru Xian's eyes lit up. "Really? What do you do?" "As for me, I'm unemployed." Su Yun nodded. Then he thought for a while and said, "But I have friends in the entertainment industry and also in the TV station. We help each other." Su Ro Pavilion's curiosity towards this so-called jobless wanderer grew even more. The two sat by the window and chatted until dawn. Miru Xian suddenly realized that staying up late wasn't that difficult. At first, she doubted that she could stick to her first night shift. Now that it was dawn, she really felt a little sore all over. Su Yun and the college-aged girl in front of him chatted very well. The two of them also called each other brother and sister. Su Yun liked Miru Xian's innocence, and Miru Xian liked Su Yun's sincerity. A replacement employee came to the coffee shop, so Su Ro Xian packed her things and prepared to take a taxi back to school. Before she left, Su Yun gave her a piece of advice, telling her to stay in school obediently. This kind of work experience wouldn't give her any social experience. On the contrary, working the night shift would bring danger to her. If an accident happened, it wouldn't be worth it. Miru Xian took Su Yun's words to heart. After she made up her mind, she called her boss and quit her job. After Su Yun watched Miru Xian leave in a taxi, he also saw Wang Ruping driving the Audi slowly out of the Fuguwei Garden community. Su Yun was no longer worried that Wang Ruping would go back on his word. If Wang Ruping wanted to go back on his word, he would have taken action last night. Wang Ruping stayed at home all night and just went to work in the morning. The morning passed quickly. At 10 o'clock, Wang Ruping arrived at the place where he and Su Yun had agreed to meet. He came alone. He didn't bring a driver with him, and there was no car following him. Su Yun directly opened the door and sat behind the driver's seat. He went straight to the point. Have you thought of a reason? Yes. Wang Ruping's reaction was also very calm, as expected of an old fox who had been in society for a long time. Green Ghost's biggest characteristic is that he is a pervert. I told him that I would take him to a fun place to pass the time. That simple. Su Yun was a little doubtful. Wang Ruping didn't seem to want to say it, but seeing Su Yun's expression, he had to explain. That day, when I arranged for people to catch you in the hotel, I wanted to give the actress who was with you to Green Ghost. I said everything, but I didn't do it. Yesterday, Green Ghost asked me when I would bring the actress to him. Su Yun really had the urge to slap him twice. I knew that you would be angry if I said that, so I didn't want to say it. Wang Ruping continued. Yesterday, I called a friend. He has a high-end club where he can find some third-rate actresses to sleep with, so I asked him to arrange 2 for me. Today, I came to find Green Ghost, so I can invite him over legitimately. I can say that it's because I didn't do what I promised him. He won't suspect me. For this guy to be able to climb to his current position, his brain was indeed not ordinary. In this case, Green Ghost would definitely not think that there was anything suspicious about Wang Ruping's frequent visits to his home. Inviting him to play with 2 actresses at night was probably a great temptation and a good way to divert his attention. Although this might cost him hundreds of thousands more, if it could save his life, why wouldn't Wang Ruping do it? He knew that he was already standing on the edge of a cliff. If money could really fill the bottomless abyss in front of him and save his life, then he would definitely not hesitate to push all his money down as a cushion. Is the club you're talking about Qin Club? Su Yun didn't know why Chao Nanshan's figure appeared in his mind. Perhaps it was because that person was also a 1,000-year-old fox. Wang Ruping was a little shocked. You even know this? Su Yun smiled faintly. Seeing Wang Ruping's surprised look, he casually scared him. I know your every move very well. Do you think I came alone? Not everyone can see you, but there will be someone monitoring you at any time. Even when you go to the bathroom and take a shower, there must be ears on the walls. This is my kind reminder to you. You're on your own. Su Yun's words made Wang Ruping break out in a cold sweat. Fortunately, he didn't put his crooked idea into practice yesterday. Otherwise, wouldn't he be dead now? He even knew the name of the club he had set. He must have heard his phone call at home yesterday. There was actually someone hiding at home. The more Wang Ruping thought about it, the more uneasy he felt. Let's go. Su Yun sat comfortably. Remember, delay for an hour before leaving. Wang Ruping nodded and pointed to a box of exquisite tea leaves on the passenger seat. I've prepared everything. Don't worry. Chapter 253. When the car slowly drove into the villa area, Su Yun slowly got up. He carefully observed every detail because those places could be hidden with surveillance cameras. Just the protective measures on the outer wall already let Su Yun know how careful Green Ghost was. But perhaps because of this, the security inside was more relaxed. At least Su Yun didn't see a lot of surveillance cameras along the way, nor did he see a courtyard full of patrols. It seemed that Green Ghost was indeed confident in the 8-door guards and the surrounding surveillance facilities. I'll park the car directly in a place where there's no one. If I leave after an hour, what will you do? Wang Ruping tried to make himself look calm. This car key is for you. I'm worried that you won't be able to get out after the automatic lock. Su Yun took the key and smiled faintly. He didn't expect Wang Ruping to be so careful. Then you don't have to worry. Soon, the car stopped in front of the biggest villa in the lakeside scenery. Su Yun saw 2 people coming from afar to greet him and immediately bent down. Wang Ruping whispered, "Be careful." Then, he picked up the tea leaves on the passenger seat, opened the door, and got out of the car. Director Wang, why are you here? The person who came up to greet Wang Ruping smiled and said politely. Wang Ruping waved the gift in his hand. Of course I'm here to have a chat with Master Qing and drink some tea. Also, I want to apologize to Master Qing for not being able to bring that little female star yesterday. I wonder if Master Ching is satisfied with the girl I sent over at the last minute? Director Wang, you're really polite. Please come in. Seeing Wang Rupiang leave with the two people, Su Yun opened the door and got out of the car as fast as he could. Then, he rolled on the ground and hid under a car next to him. The two people beside Wang Rupiang were attracted by the sound of the car door. They stopped and looked back. Wang Rupiang's forehead couldn't help but exude a thin layer of sweat. He picked up the car key and pressed the lock button, muttering to himself, "Oh, look, I forgot to lock the car. My brain is really not working well." The two people next to him thought that he was overthinking, so they responded with a smile, "Director Wang, even if you forgot to close the door, no one would dare to touch your car here." "Haha, yes. Master Ching, this must be the safest place in Suong," Wang Rupiang said as he was led into the villa. As soon as he entered, Wang Rupiang saw a live pornographic picture. Green Ghost's hair was messy, and his eyes were blurry. He spent more than 12 hours with women every day, and it was all because of his cultivation deviation. He needed women to balance his yin and yang, so he was immersed in this kind of debauchery every day. On the sofa, there were two scantily clad girls entangled with him. It seemed that the women sent by Wang Rupiang were quickly trained into obedient female slaves by Green Ghost. After seeing Wang Rupiang, Green Ghost didn't get up. With a lazy smile on his face, he said, "Director Wang, today doesn't seem to be the day we meet every week. He. Could it be that you've just given me a girl yesterday, and now you have a new one?" Director Wang is really a good friend. Wang Rupiang laughed and tried his best to avoid looking at the two scantily clad girls. "Master Ching, I'm here today to apologize to you. I promised to get you a small star, but I didn't do it. To tell you the truth, I've always been a man of my words. I'm really sorry about this." Green Ghost narrowed his eyes and slapped the two girls' butts. Scram. Finally, there were no more moans in the living room, and Wang Rupiang could finally sit across from Green Ghost. After Wang Rupiang sat down, Green Ghost had an expectant smile on his face. "Director Wang, don't feel bad. How are you going to apologize? Although we're brothers, I definitely won't refuse an apology." Did you really get me that Ling Zhiling?" Wang Rupiang shook his head apologetically. "I didn't get Ling Zhiling, but I heard that Master Ching likes to drink Tiguanyin, so I brought you some good Onchi Tiguanyin." The smile on Green Ghost's face disappeared. "Director Wang, you're not sincere enough. You want to dismiss me with this little Tiguanyin?" "Director Wang, although I promised you that I wouldn't cause too much trouble in Suong, I only said that I would try my best." How could Wang Rupiang not understand Green Ghost's threat? He hurriedly smiled and said, "Master Ching, I naturally have to be sincere when I apologize. This tea can't represent my apology. Let's chat while drinking tea? I want to invite Master Ching to a fun place tonight. Don't you like to play with stars? I've prepared two for you there. Director Wang, you're really my good friend." When Green Ghost heard this, a smile appeared on his face again. This Suong was really a good place. There were so many beauties, and Director Wang of the Justice Bureau was also so sensible. It seemed that he really didn't come to the wrong place. But the only thing that made him unhappy was that he didn't eliminate the Feng sect completely. That little girl and Cho Yun had actually escaped the net. And the fish that escaped the net were so beautiful. Every time Green Ghost thought of Cho Yun, he felt a sense of eagerness. But that woman didn't know how to appreciate his kindness. If she was willing to follow him, he could guarantee that she would be second only to him and above everyone else. Cho Yun and the little girl from the Feng family not only ran away, but also caused a huge mess in the small city of Hadong City in Zhongbei province. The 4 first-class masters by his side all died there. In addition to the 3 second-class masters that he sent before, Green Ghost had already lost 7 people in Hadong City. In the Ghost sect, he was the first to set up his own sect. After entering the underground world, all the forces that Green Ghost developed were more ambitious than the other giants in the underground world. From the way he recruited people, all of his subordinates were masters who had just entered the door. He didn't want ordinary people. If these people didn't follow him, he would kill them. These people could only survive if they followed him, so all of Green Ghost's subordinates were forced by him through violent means. But because of this, he could easily take down the Feng family in Suong. Because other than Cho Yun who could hold up the table, the rest of Feng Qiansui's subordinates were second-class masters who admired his reputation. Although Feng Qiansui was a famous fierce man when he was young, he had become a fat piece of meat in the eyes of Qing Gui because of his old age and the pain of losing his son. After taking down Feng Qiansui, not only did Green Ghost have his own forces, but he also had the name of Hua Xia's underground world. At least he became a formidable person. Now, the leaders of Hua Xia's underground world were all from the previous generation. Green Ghost wanted to tell them that they were already eliminated from the underground world. He wanted to eliminate them one by one. Perhaps it was because of his wild ambition that he really cleaned out the Feng family from the underground world in Suong, which was why Nether King Leng Chen looked at him differently. But he didn't know that if Green Ghost hadn't received help from Nether King Leng Chen at the most crucial moment, he wouldn't have been able to deal with the chaotic Suong underground world. After all of his powerful subordinates had fallen under the hands of Su Yun in Hadong City. Now that he thought of the person who had caused him so much trouble, Green Ghost's fists were still clenched. Originally, Green Ghost wanted to go to Hadong City to deal with Su Yun, who had caused him so much trouble. However, once Nether King Lang Chen's subordinates left, the entire Suong relied on him to suppress it. If he left again, who knew if someone would cause trouble again? If he didn't have the ability to suppress the Suong underground world and repeatedly asked Nether King Lang Chen for help, then he would be no different from trash in Lang Chen's eyes. The dignified Nether King would not help a piece of trash over and over again. Therefore, even though Green Ghost gritted his teeth in hatred, he didn't take a step into Hadong City. If he couldn't bear it, then he would mess up great plans. While there were still undercurrents in Suong, he definitely wouldn't leave. It was at this time that Green Ghost colluded with Wang Rupiying. Wang Rupiying had connections with many people in Suhong's underground world, so Green Ghost hoped to control the entire Suong underground world by controlling him. Under the dual pressure of money and coercion, Wang Rupiying had indeed established a special friendship with Green Ghost. Wang Rupiying had received a huge sum of money from Green Ghost and had personally seen Green Ghost tear a person in half, so his fear of Green Ghost was greater than anything else. Green Ghost originally hoped that Wang Rupiying would help him stabilize all the undercurrents in Suong before going to Hadong City to settle the score with Su Yun. However, he didn't expect to catch Cho Yun, who wanted to sneak into the lakeside villa area 2 nights ago. Cho Yun had come late at night 2 days ago. Although she had tried her best to avoid the surveillance around the wall, she was still caught by Green Ghost's comprehensive surveillance system that had no blind spots. Right now, the people around Green Ghost weren't Cho Yun's match, but he could easily control Cho Yun. Green Ghost knew Cho Yun's personality. If he dared to touch her, she might really kill herself. Green Ghost didn't want the best bait for Su Yun to die, so he held back his thoughts. Now that Cho Yun was in his hands, he believed that he didn't need to go to Hadong City anymore. The kid who had caused him so much trouble in Hadong City would definitely come to Suong to find Cho Yun. When that time came, this place would be his territory. Master Green, this tea is old tea that can't be bought on the market. Try it and see if it's to your taste. Wang Rupiying's tea fragrance interrupted Green Ghost's deep hatred for Su Yun. Green Ghost picked up a cup of tea and slowly tasted it. He smiled and said, "Director Wang, you said that you prepared 2 little female stars for me tonight. You won't go back on your word this time, right? I can't afford to be disappointed twice." "Of course not, of course not," Wang Rupiying said with certainty. Chapter 254. Su Yun hid under the car for a full 10 minutes. He had to make sure that everything around him was safe before he dared to make a move. Before entering the villa district, he could relax a little, but every step he took here, he had to make sure that everything was 100% safe. His tense nerves told him that once he was discovered, he wouldn't have a second chance to come in. Of course, there was another voice fighting with him in his heart. If they really fought, Su Yun didn't have 100% confidence in dealing with Green Ghost, but he believed that he could escape. However, the premise was that he had to make sure that Cho Yun hadn't fallen into Green Ghost's hands. If Cho Yun had fallen into Green Ghost's hands, Su Yun would only stimulate Green Ghost's nerves and increase the danger to Cho Yun's life. There were 8 villas in the Lakeside Villa area. If Chin Club's boss Chow Nanshan's words were true, then these 8 villas were all Green Ghost's people. After Su Yun's inspection, the other 7 villas didn't seem to have anyone living there at all. From the looks of it, even if they weren't occupied by Green Ghost, no one would dare to stay there. If that was the case, it wasn't hard for Su Yun to confirm that Green Ghost was living in Feng Chensue's house. There were no less than 10 people wandering around the house. Su Yun couldn't sneak in to see if Cho Yun had been captured. This made Su Yun feel a little helpless. It was impossible to enter the villa without disturbing Green Ghost. Just as Su Yun was racking his brains and didn't know what to do, 2 patrolling Green Ghost subordinates suddenly came from afar. Su Yun quickly hid his body in the thick green belt of the villa area. He held his breath and let his aura completely disappear. The 2 people chatted as they passed by Su Yun, but they didn't find anything wrong. "Our boss hasn't left the house for 3 days. Do you think it's necessary for him to be so careful?" The conversation between the 2 quickly caught Su Yun's attention. Another person shook his head. "We definitely don't understand. Ever since Mountain Cat, Goshawk, and Demon Beast were all killed when they were sent to track down the Violent Fox Venerable, Red Scorpion, Monk, Scar, and Leopard Lady were all killed, our boss only has us as his subordinates. The 13 Grand Guardians under Pluto also left. Boss is afraid that someone will find trouble with him. But isn't the Violent Fox Venerable being used as bait by boss?" The person who spoke at the beginning spoke again. "Sure. Stop talking. Boss didn't allow them to talk about this. Are you crazy? Don't lose your life if they hear you." That person hurriedly stopped him and said, "Boss doesn't dare to go out because he's afraid that once he leaves, our place will be empty. Let's go and take over the shift. Those 2 bastards at the door are going to complain again." Okay. As the 2 of them spoke, they quickened their pace and walked towards the entrance. Su Yun frowned. Cho Yun had already been captured? It seemed that she really wasn't prepared to listen to his warning from the beginning. This matter was troublesome. Green Ghost had been sitting here and refused to go out. Cho Yun was definitely imprisoned in that villa. As long as Green Ghost didn't leave, Su Yun could only go head-to-head to save her. If Green Ghost used Cho Yun as a threat, he was afraid that he would really die here. Su Yun could only pin all his hopes on Wang Ruping. He could only hope that Wang Ruping could persuade Green Ghost. If Green Ghost went to the Chin Club with Wang Ruping at night to play with those 2 little celebrities, then he really had a chance. Thinking of this, Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He actually put his hopes on a corrupt official who he couldn't wait to take off his black hat. If this was in the past, Su Yun wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. Without waiting for Su Yun to come out of his hiding place, 2 more patrollers passed by. It seemed that this damned place was a passageway. It really wasn't good to stay here for long. Although they had only arrived at the lakeside villa in the blink of an eye, Su Yun looked at the time. It had been more than 40 minutes. He had to find a way to get on the car now. Otherwise, he was afraid that it would be too late. Su Yun was on guard against the patrollers while being careful of the cameras everywhere. He once again returned to the off-road vehicle where he first hid. At the same time, Wang Ruping also walked out of the villa. His expression looked like he had made an appointment with Green Ghost. This was too much of a coincidence. Su Yun looked at the time. It had only been 53 minutes. Now that Wang Ruping had come out, if Su Yun opened the door and went in again, someone would definitely notice that there was something wrong with the car. Seeing that Wang Ruping was sent to the front of the car by the 2 people, Su Yun could only clench his teeth and directly roll under Wang Ruping's car. This move was indeed too risky. Just as Wang Ruping walked to the front of the driver's seat, his ankle was gently grabbed by Su Yun. Wang Ruping almost screamed on the spot. Fortunately, his many years of experience allowed him to quickly recover his calmness. He also quickly figured out who had grabbed him. Su-yun saw that Wang Ruping trembled and then calmed down. He carefully used his finger to write on his ankle, "I'm under the car, walk slowly." When the first two words were written, Wang Ruping didn't react. However, the words, "under the car," and "walk slowly," made him clearly understand what Su-yun meant. Su-yun believed that a person who could climb from an educated youth in the countryside to his current position must not be made of sh*t. Director Wang, did you forget something? Of the two people who sent Wang Ruping out, the taller one asked with a puzzled expression. Wang Ruping hurriedly shook his head. No, he, please go back, please go back. There will be many opportunities for us to meet in the future. If there is a chance, I will definitely invite the two of you to Qin Club to have fun together. When the two heard this, they were so happy that they couldn't close their mouths. Director Wang is too polite. He, I hope you and Green Master have fun tonight. Take care, we won't send you off. Wang Ruping got into the car. He originally hoped that after the two people left, he would let Su-yun get into the car and leave. However, the two people stood by the side and watched him leave. Wang Ruping had no choice but to bite the bullet and start the car. This car was under the ground. He didn't dare to believe that a person could drive away under the car. Therefore, Wang Ruping's speed was as slow as possible. However, after driving for more than 10 meters, he didn't feel any scratches on the chassis of the car, so he felt a little relieved. However, this didn't mean that Wang Ruping could relax. He was still worried that a group of people would swarm up and completely surround him, and then, after driving 200 meters away from the lakeside villa community, Wang Ruping finally felt relieved. He quickly stopped the car, opened the door, and jumped out. He just happened to bump into Su-yun, who came out from under the car. Su-yun swept the dust off his body with his hand and said to Wang Ruping, "Are you sure you asked Green Ghost out tonight?" Wang Ruping stared at Su-yun with an incredulous and surprised expression. He couldn't believe that Su-yun could really crawl under the car and follow him out. I asked him to go to the Qin Club tonight, and he agreed. If that's the case, will you do something to him tonight? When Su-yun heard the word "you," he couldn't help but want to laugh. It seemed that Wang Ruping really believed that he wasn't alone. "No, I just hope that you have fun with Green Ghost tonight." Su-yun smiled. "Remember to give me a clear message when you arrive at the Qin Club. Also, if you have fun, give me a message after it's over." Wang Ruping nodded. "So you mean that you won't do anything to Green Ghost tonight? Then, why did you go in today?" Su-yun raised his eyebrows and casually said 4 words. "Install a bomb." Wang Ruping's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. His face was so shocked that he couldn't close his mouth. Bomb. In other words, Su-yun came with a bomb in his car. If he was discovered midway, it would be a dead end. "Do you believe it?" Su-yun asked again. This time, Wang Ruping was really confused. "In short, your only task now is to inform me after you bring Green Ghost to the Qin Club. Let him play there as long as possible. I'll leave my phone number with you. Tell me your situation at any time. Now, do what you need to do. If you feel that someone is following you, don't contact me." Wang Ruping looked at Su-yun seriously. "Could it be your people following me?" "Our people call that surveillance," Su-yun said with a wave of his hand. Then, he strode forward alone. "Also, our people won't let you know that they are watching you. Do you understand?" Wang Ruping looked at Su-yun's figure walking away and raised his head to look around. Was it true or not? However, he would rather believe it than not. Now, even if there was only air around him, Wang Ruping felt that there were many pairs of eyes staring at him. Su-yun quickly left Wang Ruping's sight. He didn't dare to say whether he would succeed in luring the snake out of its hole this time, but at least now there was some hope. Although he was basically sure that Cho-yun had been caught by Green Ghost, it seemed that Green Ghost didn't do anything to Cho-yun. Using Cho-yun as bait? It seemed that Green Ghost really wanted to catch Su-yun like a fish. Su-yun smiled coldly. Unfortunately, he wasn't an ordinary fish, but a shark. It wouldn't be that easy to catch him with bait. Su Yun wanted to let Green Ghost have a taste of what it was like to fail at fishing and lose the bait. However, before Wang Rupiang brought Green Ghost to the lake of wine and forest of meat, Su Yun had to rest. He didn't sleep for the whole night, and now he just wanted to go back and have a good sleep. Otherwise, even if Green Ghost gave him a chance tonight, the dozens of masters in the lakeside villa community weren't to be trifled with. Since leaving the Dragon Fury team, Su Yun hadn't participated in any large-scale killing. First, he felt that his identity was different, and second, he was worried about the outbreak of his inner demon. Now, it was much better. The inner demon had already broken out. Not only did it not kill him, but it also helped him break through to the realm of a supermaster. As for his identity, all the members of the Dragon Fury team went to the border between Eastern Europe and Western Asia to carry out a mission. Wang Yi still had to call him to inform him, which meant that he still had the power to do some things that he could have done in the past. Chapter 255. Before sending people to the guillotine, they had to give them a drumstick and a bowl of wine. Su Yun was going to break through the gates of hell tonight, so of course he had to relax. After returning to the hotel and eating, he suggested finding some entertainment in the afternoon to pass the time. Ling Jiling nodded, showing that she supported Su Yun's idea. Thus, the two turned their gazes to Wu Yuandong, who had been to Suong no less than 100 times. Do you want to see the scenery or do you want to play something leisurely or exciting? Wu Yuandong knew a lot about the places to eat, drink, and play in the city. He had driven Zhuo Meiyan to meetings many times, and he had the whole day free. It would be a pity if he didn't play or eat. Besides, all expenses were covered by Zhuo Meiyan. What do you think? Su Yun looked at Ling Jiling. Ladies first, as long as you were a gentleman, you would know this principle. Even if you weren't a gentleman, you would still fight for the girl's opinion at this time. Ling Jiling rolled her eyes for a long time, then asked Su Yun tentatively, how about we play something exciting? I think that's fine. Su Yun gave a thumbs up. The goddess really turned into a tough woman in a second. She actually wanted to play something exciting with him. It looked like she really didn't care about her image. Wu Yuandong thought for a long time before giving a suggestion, then let's go to the fantasy water world. Extreme shuttle, sky skateboard, super whirlpool, they're all quite exciting. I think that's fine. Su Yun instantly thought of a perfect scene. The essential thing to play in the water was a swimsuit. The thought of Ling Jiling wearing a swimsuit and screaming next to him was quite exciting. To highlight the point, a swimsuit. Ling Jiling was startled at first, but seeing that Su Yun was so interested, she really didn't want to dampen his interest. Although she believed that Su Yun was a gentleman who would consider a girl's thoughts, in the end, he was still their Sky Entertainment's young master. Okay, then we have to buy a swimsuit first. Ling Jiling also let go. She had never experienced the feeling of playing in an amusement park like a normal person. She put on her exaggerated sunglasses, which covered most of her face. I don't think anyone will recognize me like this, right? Su Yun gave him a thumbs up. I didn't recognize you. She thought to herself that if she took off her clothes and changed into a bikini, the effect would be even better. Probably not many people had seen Sister Qi Ling wearing a bikini in real life, right? What was shown in the movies might not be real. Nowadays, there were so many body doubles, and there were so many delicate models. In that case, Wu Yuandong took the car key and stood up, saying, Then let's go. Then let's go to Arena to buy a swimsuit first. Ling Jiling stood up as she packed her bag. A star was a star. She really had a good taste in life. She just went to the water world once. She could have just bought something on the spot. Why did she have to go to Arena to buy a swimsuit? She was not a professional athlete. Perhaps no one knew that since the swimmer who wore Arena for the first time at the 1976 Montreal Olympic Games won 27 gold medals in one fell swoop, more and more top swimmers in the world chose to wear Arena to various international swimming competitions. But everyone knew that this brand of swimsuit was really expensive. Wu Yuandong drove to the street with the most brands in Suong and quickly found the Arena store according to the location of the navigation. This price was indeed expensive. Su Yun casually looked at 2 bikinis that were covered with 2 pieces of cloth and they cost 500 to 600 yuan. This was only the ordinary model. The fancier bikinis hanging inside, who knows how much it would cost. Hello, sir. Hello, miss. Would you like to choose a swimsuit? The outside is for the beginner stage. There are amateur fitness, fun and leisure, and professional competition. A salesgirl introduced and greeted them. Our arena is a professional swimsuit manufacturer. The salesgirl talked a lot, and Ling Jiling didn't care. While listening, she walked in with the salesgirl. Seeing that no one recognized her, Ling Jiling was quite satisfied with her oversized sunglasses. It seemed that she would take this with her when she went out alone in the future. Su Yun was not in the mood to listen to the introduction of another salesgirl who came up to greet him. He casually said to Wu Yuandong beside him, "Brother Dong, choose one. I'll give it to you." Wu Yuandong waved his hand. "No, there's my travel kit in the trunk. There's everything in it, hee hee. You're still well prepared." Su Yun couldn't help but sigh with emotion. He casually picked up a triangular navy blue swimming trunks from the low-priced section. There were only 3 fish scales on it. He muttered to himself, "I'll take this. It looks quite comfortable. It definitely won't hurt my little brother." Ling Jiling and the 2 female sales assistants blushed instantly. Su Yun was really talking to herself. She didn't expect the listener to take her words to heart while the speaker didn't mean it. The 2 salesgirls were fine. After all, there were all kinds of people who came to buy swimsuits. Many nouveau riche and hooligans were even more unscrupulous when they talked. Some hooligans would even say the size of their lower body and ask them if they could put it down. So when they saw that Su Yun's words were unintentional, they quickly calmed down. But Ling Jiling didn't calm down so easily. Because on the first night when she slept in the same bed with Su Yun, she woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. When she came back, she happened to see Su Yun kicking the quilt away. The scene of Su Yun erecting a small tent with a pillar supporting the sky was really a reflection of the lyrics of a song, "Your existence is deep in my mind." So Su Yun's unintentional words just now really made Ling Jiling's feelings very complicated. "What the F***ck? Just a pair of briefs and you want me to pay 280 yuan? Are you kidding me?" Su Yun only saw the price tag now. He thought that since it was placed in the special section at the door, it must be cheap. "Sir, the shorts you chose are professional competition shorts. It's on special sale now. The original price is 499 yuan. The salesgirl introduced. Su Yun directly threw it back. "Then find me a beginner level one. As long as you can guarantee that it won't be torn by me and my little baby won't be exposed, then it's fine. I just want to wear it once. Don't make it so expensive." Although Su Yun's words were a bit blunt, the salesgirl still patiently picked up a pair of black boxers with yellow edges and said to Su Yun, "Then you can choose this pair. Sir, this pair is on special sale now for 152 yuan. The original price is 199 yuan. This is already the cheapest men's swimsuit in our shop." Su Yun frowned. He really didn't understand. This flat corner was obviously made of more fabric than the triangular one. Why was it cheaper? At this time, Ling Jiling picked up a pair of knee-length men's swimming trunks with a drainage line from the professional competition section and said to Su Yun, "I think this is pretty good. I'll take this. I'll help you decide. I'll pay." The saleswoman next to her was smiling like a blooming flower. She praised Ling Jiling, "Miss, you have good taste. This gentleman is so lucky to have found such a considerate girlfriend. This is a professional swimming trunks. Although I know you are not using it for competitions, I believe this gentleman will be very satisfied with the experience it brings after wearing it." Girlfriend? Su Yun and Ling Jiling couldn't help but be stunned. "How much is it?" Su Yun frowned. The professional competition shorts were already 280 yuan. Wouldn't this knee-length pair be a few hundred yuan? 1,000 yuan. Su Yun really wanted to spit out his soda. 1,000 yuan. Unless this pair of swimming trunks could give him an orgasm, he felt like he was losing out big time. If the person who bought this thing wasn't a professional athlete, then it must be an idiot with a lot of money. Wrap it up, Ling Jiling said casually. In the end, Su Yun didn't spit out the words he wanted to say to save her face. Forget it, it was her treat anyway. As the #1 sister of Sky Entertainment, it wasn't too much for Su Yun to charge her a pair of swimming trunks that cost 1,000 yuan. After choosing the swimming trunks for Su Yun, Ling Jiling smiled slightly. Then can you help me choose one? What style do you think I want? Do you even need to ask? Of course it's a bikini. Su Yun said without hesitation, a bikini can increase a woman's sex appeal by several times. One-piece swimsuits are for aunties. If you think you're an auntie, then pretend I didn't say anything. Of course, Ling Jiling liked bikinis, but she was going to a public entertainment venue alone. Wearing a bikini would make her feel much less safe. But Su Yun's words were reasonable. One-piece swimsuits were for aunties. Then, won't it be too revealing? Ling Jiling asked with a slightly worried expression. It's covered where it should be covered. Is it revealing? Su Yun shrugged and shook his head. I don't think it's revealing at all. There are only two kinds of people who think it's revealing. Either they're old-fashioned, or they're really evil people. These two kinds of people have nothing to do with me. That's why I like bikinis. Ling Jiling really liked listening to Su Yun. Then choose one for me. Su Yun raised his head and looked around. Since Ling Jiling didn't care about the money, he didn't mind choosing casually. You have such a good figure, so any style and color on you will show off a woman's sex appeal and charm. I think the collage of bright flowers will suit you better because that kind of fashion isn't something that just anyone can wear, but you can. A belt on the back and a deep, low collar. This is synonymous with the ultimate sex appeal. And that should be a 3-piece set with a spaghetti strap skirt on the outside. If there are too many people who are prejudiced, you can also wear the outer one. After Su Yun finished speaking, the shop assistant had already taken down the 3-piece bikini set. Her eyes lit up as she praised Su Yun. Sir, you really know how to compare bikinis. It's the first time I admire a customer. And this dress is really suitable for your girlfriend. It's very compatible with her sexy temperament. I really feel that your girlfriend is like a big star. Sister Ling Jiling. Su Yun and Ling Jiling looked at each other. Now, neither of them had the time to care about being misunderstood as a couple. They were only afraid that their true identities would be exposed. This is it. Ling Jiling didn't even look at the price. She directly bought the bikini that cost 1,599 yuan. After swiping the card, the two quickly got into the car and left the store under Wu Yuendong's lead. Chapter 256. In the car, Ling Jiling looked in the mirror for a long time. Finally, she couldn't help but ask, "Can't these big glasses hide me? Can you still tell who I am?" "I can't." Su Yun shook his head. "Nowadays, a lot of girls like to have their chin fixed like yours. There should be a lot of people who look like this with sunglasses. It's just that you shouldn't open your mouth to talk. I'm afraid there's no way to reshape your vocal cords." Ling Jiling suddenly realized that her voice had betrayed her. It looked like she really would have to pay attention to what she said when they got to the fantasy water world. It didn't matter if someone recognized her. She was just afraid that it would cause a sensation. That would be a bit troublesome. After Wu Yuandong parked the car, the three of them walked straight into the center of the fantasy water world's front hall. After buying the tickets, they agreed where to meet and then started to change. Su Yun and Wu Yuendong's movements were quite smooth. The earlier they changed, the earlier they could go in to see the beauties. Any man understood this logic. Just as the two of them went through the corner passage, Su Yun noticed a lotus-like tattoo on the back of Wu Yuendong's right shoulder. Su Yun's footsteps clearly slowed. Wu Yuandong felt it and turned around. He asked suspiciously, "Brother Su Yun, what's wrong?" "Nothing." Su Yun smiled and shook his head. He didn't want to ask, but in the end, he couldn't help but ask, "Brother Dong, when did you get that tattoo on your body?" Wu Yuandong stared blankly for a moment, then grinned. I got it a long time ago. Hee hee, I got it when I didn't know anything. Don't laugh at me. Su Yun waved his hand. How could that be? Tattoos aren't illegal. In the United States, it's a cultural heritage. It's just that in Huaxia, a lot of people have a prejudice against tattoos. Even in the military, those with tattoos are eliminated. You probably got it after you left the army. You've only been driving at Sky Entertainment for a year. That means you left the army a year ago, hee hee. Brother, it's true that I only got this tattoo a year ago. It's just for fun. It's not that interesting. Wu Yuandong saw that Su Yun had exposed his words, but he didn't show anything special. He just said faintly, I'm going to wash it off with medicine later. Quite domineering. Su Yun laughed and said, Why did you wash it? It's not like you're going to take the civil servant exam. Ha ha ha. The two of them chatted and laughed as they walked into the dreamy water world. Su Yun saw that Wu Yuandong didn't want to tell him the meaning of the tattoo, so he didn't say anything. He felt that the tattoo looked familiar. However, it didn't matter if he didn't mention it. After all, Su Yun still couldn't figure out when and under what circumstances he had seen such a lotus-like pattern. About 5 minutes later, Ling Jiling walked out of the female passageway, still wearing her big sunglasses. Wow! Su Yun couldn't help but exclaim. Previously, when he saw Ling Jiling, she was wearing clothes, and her clothes weren't particularly tight, so there was no way to determine her figure. He could only guess. Besides, many girls nowadays had breast padding, so it wasn't real at all. Now that Ling Jiling came out in a bikini, it must be real. Su Yun dared to guarantee that she wouldn't be at a disadvantage compared to Ruan Qingxuang or Qin Wan. Wu Yuandong touched his nose and seemed to be a little angry. You guys go play. I've played all these. There's a sauna over there. I'll go there for a while. Su Yun didn't stop him. He wasn't gay, so of course, he didn't have the idea of playing games with men. Exciting games like extreme shuttling and sky skateboarding were to be played with girls, and girls with big breasts and deep V-neck bikinis were the best choice. When he thought of Ling Jiling hugging his arm and screaming, Su Yun felt incomparably comfortable. Let's go. Let's go play sky skateboarding first. Su Yun pulled Ling Jiling up and left. He was mentally prepared. In a while, his arm would be crushed by those two soft breasts. He would admit defeat. Tomorrow was the meeting with the advertising director. Ling Jiling also felt that she should relax, so she didn't hesitate to follow Su Yun. She didn't think about the consequences at all. Of course, the consequences were obvious. Ling Jiling, who didn't know how to swim, was scared witless. Her heart was stimulated and almost stopped beating. Su Yun put all his senses and nerves on the arm in Ling Jiling's embrace, so his only discomfort was that his nose was hot. There was always a possibility that he would have a nosebleed. After all kinds of fun, the two were finally tired of playing. After playing the super whirlpool, Ling Jiling's huge sunglasses were unknowingly thrown away. At first, they didn't even notice it. She was laughing happily with Su Yun. At this moment, Su Yun's phone suddenly rang. He took out the super waterproof and anti-falling naked chicken and duck phone from his waist and waved it in front of Ling Jiling to show off. Only then did he pick up the phone. Wang Rupiying's weak voice immediately came from the other side of the phone. It's me. I know. Su Yun said lightly. What, you've already gone there? No way, right? It's not dark yet. Could it be that he can't wait anymore? It was really inconvenient to make a move in broad daylight. Su Yun felt that it was a bit sudden. If Green Ghost followed Wang Rupiying to the Qin Club to play with the two little stars at this time, then he had to break into the Qin Club at this time. It was too bright at this time. It would be safer for him to break in so openly. At night, at least 3 to 5 people could be dealt with at once. If it was really dozens of people besieging him, Su Yun wouldn't have so many fists and feet no matter how strong he was. But the news that Wang Rupiying brought to Su Yun was worse than Su Yun imagined. Green Ghost just contacted me. He said he won't go out with me at night. Wang Ruping frowned. I can't force him. Green Ghost has always been a man of his word. Su Yun's face instantly became serious. Why did he suddenly give up going out with you? Didn't you say that he was very excited this morning? According to Wang Ruping, Green Ghost was a man who desperately needed women. How could such a person suddenly give up on 2 little stars? He gave up on going out with me, but he didn't give up on the 2 little stars I found for him at a high price. He asked me to send them to his door. He won't come out. Wang Ruping sighed. I really didn't want to play any tricks. I didn't expect Green Ghost to suddenly change his mind. I've already promised to send the 2 little stars to his door. I really have no other way. I know. Su Yun's face was very bad. If he couldn't lure Green Ghost out of the hole, he wouldn't have a chance to save Cho Yun. Now that Green Ghost was so careful, it seemed that he was determined to find Cho Yun. Green Ghost must have already made a plan. If Su Yun really barged in, he probably wouldn't be able to return. After hanging up the phone with Wang Ruping, Su Yun tried to calm his chaotic state of mind. The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. He was prepared to explore the ghost's cave at night, but he didn't expect Green Ghost, that cunning fox, to stay at home and not come out. If he wanted to lure Green Ghost out, he probably needed other methods. But what other methods did Su Yun have? Wang Ruping was the only person he could use. Green Ghost was very cautious of him, so it was very difficult to lure Green Ghost out and create an opportunity for Su Yun to save Cho Yun. Su Yun wasn't afraid of fighting Green Ghost one-on-one, nor was he afraid of charging into his nest full of experts. But Su Yun was very sure that he couldn't deal with those low-level experts and Green Ghost at the same time. If he did, he wouldn't have a chance to win. He wouldn't even have a chance to escape. If he wasn't forced to the edge of a cliff, Su Yun wouldn't do something like cutting off his means of retreat. That was because it was too dangerous. Moreover, he wasn't someone who didn't care about anything. He still had a lot of things he cared about. Seeing that Su Yun's face wasn't looking good, Ling Jieling sensibly stood to the side and asked in a low voice, "Prince, what's wrong? Did something happen?" "It's nothing." Su Yun waved his hand. In front of others, he didn't want to show that kind of sadness. At this moment, a man suddenly walked in front of her and asked in a low voice, "Miss Jieling, can I have the honor of taking a picture with you?" As soon as he said that, Ling Jieling hurriedly touched her face. She suddenly realized that her sunglasses were gone, and the smile on her face instantly disappeared. "Sorry, you've got the wrong person." Su Yun naturally saw Ling Jieling's panic. He pushed away the person in front of them and pulled Ling Jieling towards the passage of the changing room. He didn't want to be surrounded at this time. Tomorrow was the official start of work. Of course, that person wouldn't be discouraged by Su Yun's words. He even loudly retorted, "I'm not talking to you. I'm asking Miss Jieling if she can give me the honor of taking a picture. Who do you think you are?" This person's words were quickly heard by the surrounding tourists. Miss Jieling's reputation was really loud. Even if they didn't want to take advantage of her, they still wanted to see her. Everyone wanted to see Sister Jieling in person. Some people had already taken out their phones and were ready to take pictures on Weibo and earn some reposts. Su Yun's head was really hurting. Although he was prepared to be surrounded when he took Ling Jieling out, after being surrounded, he was really in no mood. After all, Wang Ruping's phone call just now had ruined all his plans. No matter how strong Su Yun's composure was, at this time, he was still full of anger. Before that person could speak again, Su Yun had already raised his foot and kicked that person's waist. The man was sent flying several meters away with a single kick. Seeing that Su Yun's anger was about to explode and cause a big mess, Wu Yuandong suddenly appeared. He reached out and stopped in front of Su Yun and said in a low voice, "You guys go first. I'll stop him. Wait for me next to the car." Su Yun knew that he couldn't do it anymore. At this time, there were so many people around with their phones ready to take pictures. It didn't matter if he hit someone, but it would definitely affect Ling Jieling's image. Affecting Ling Jieling's image was affecting Sky Entertainment's image. After all, Sky Entertainment was his godfather's painstaking effort. In the end, Su Yun chose to listen to Wu Yuandong's arrangement. He turned around and quickly disappeared into the changing passage with Ling Zhiling. Wu Yuandong was also fierce enough. With his own strength, he blocked the crowd of onlookers and roared, "Get out of my sight!" Chapter 257. Su Yun and Ling Zhiling changed their clothes and came to the parking lot. Less than 2 minutes later, Wu Yuandong hurriedly came out and quickly unlocked the car. "Let's go, it'll be too late if we don't leave now. Those people have already chased you out, and someone has already taken pictures of you." Ling Zhiling was a little panicked. Fortunately, Su Yun reacted quickly enough and pulled her into the car. If they didn't want to make the headlines tomorrow, then obediently listened to Wu Yuandong. After the three of them quickly got into the car, sure enough, there were already onlookers who chased after them. This didn't mean that they liked to chase stars, but these people knew that the price of this kind of entertainment news was definitely not low. This was also the reason why so many people liked to be paparazzi. Wu Yuandong took advantage of the time when those people hadn't reacted and quickly drove out of the Fantasy Waterworld's parking lot. He had learned his lesson. In the future, he absolutely couldn't bring these big and small stars to this kind of public place to play. "Su Yun, your reaction just now was really a little too agitated." Ling Zhiling didn't understand why Su Yun would suddenly hit someone and kick that person so far away. If this was exposed, the impact would be too bad. Su Yun didn't feel uncomfortable because Ling Zhiling suddenly changed the way she addressed him. Instead, he felt that it was quite good to finally get rid of the Crown Prince's name that gave people goosebumps. "Sorry, I really should have controlled my emotions just now." Hearing Su Yun apologize to her, Ling Zhiling was also a little stunned. Only then did she realize that her tone just now was a little stiff. She also hurriedly explained, "Crown Prince, I didn't mean that. I was worried that you would hurt yourself by doing this. What if those people attacked you? I'm afraid those people can't hurt me. I'm worried that it will affect you." Su Yun sat on the comfortable and wide sofa in the RV and stretched his back. If it wasn't for Wang Rupiying's call, he probably wouldn't be so upset. Ling Zhiling was indeed more careful than the average person when it came to observing people's expressions. She quickly determined that Su Yun's actions were troublesome in Su Yun. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so absent-minded. "Crown Prince, if you encounter any problems, you can tell me. Maybe I can help you." Ling Zhiling said this out of genuine concern. "If you don't tell me, I can't help you even if I want to." Su Yun smiled. "Thank you. I appreciate your kindness. If you can really help me, I will definitely ask for your help." "Am I that useless?" Ling Zhiling pointed at herself innocently and said, "A woman's sixth sense is very sensitive. I always had a feeling that I would definitely help you." "Really?" Su Yun raised his eyebrows. "I hope so." Now, unless someone helped him rescue Cho Yun, then he could join forces with Cho Yun to deal with Green Ghost. Although he didn't know what the chances of winning were, with the help of a first-rate expert, Su Yun felt that he could have the upper hand. No matter how strong Green Ghost was, he was at most a super expert. This was something that Su Yun was very certain of. Although he hadn't fought Green Ghost before, he could conclude that he was definitely not a Grandmaster. This was because a Grandmaster wouldn't let Cho Yun escape the first time. Moreover, if Green Ghost was a Grandmaster, he wouldn't have joined Pluto. It had to be known that Pluto, Lang Chen, had the strength of a Grandmaster. Although the super experts were divided into 9 levels, and Su Yun was a novice who had just stepped into the first level of super expert, he was still confident that he could fight against people of the same level. Even if he couldn't win, at least he wouldn't die. If he had the help of a first-rate expert like Cho Yun, it was hard to say who would win. Unfortunately, Ling Zhiling didn't know anything about this, so she couldn't help him in this aspect. Wu Yuandong's strength was also limited, and Su Yun could feel from his aura that he was at most a second-rate expert. There must be no less than 2 digits of second-rate experts in Green Ghost's villa, right? At least the 2 people who greeted and sent Wang Rupiying off at the door today were definitely second-rate experts. So even if Su Yun brought Wu Yuandong, who had the strength of a second-rate expert, into Green Ghost's villa, the only result would be dead. There was absolutely no chance of rescuing Cho Yun. Su Yun took a deep breath. He really had a splitting headache. He really couldn't think of a long-term plan for this matter. According to his calculations, Cho Yun had been captured by Green Ghost for at least 40 hours. Even if Green Ghost didn't interrogate or torture Cho Yun during this period of time, with Cho Yun's nature, she would definitely torture herself. She definitely wouldn't eat the food Green Ghost gave her. This didn't matter, after all, not eating for a few days wouldn't starve. However, Su Yun was really worried that she wouldn't even drink a mouthful of water. In that case, even if Cho Yun had an extraordinary physique and was an expert among experts, she wouldn't be able to endure it. Even if she was an expert, she was still a human. A human's physique could never lack water. What should I do? Su Yun scratched his head, his face at a loss. Ling Jiling saw this and was anxious in her heart. She really didn't know what to do. In any case, she wanted to help Su Yun share this anxiety, but she was really powerless. Just as the two fell into silence, Ling Jiling's phone rang. When she saw that it was Zhua Meiyan, she was a little stunned. Su Yun also saw the call and couldn't help but be surprised. No way. She can't possibly know that I'm causing trouble for her here so quickly, right? Hello, Chief Zhua. Ling Jiling looked at Su Yun awkwardly, then carefully picked up the phone. Is there something you need from me? Zhua Meiyan was in a good mood. I just called Su Yun, but the line was busy. I don't know who he's talking to. Is he not with you? He's with me. He just received a call from a friend. As Ling Jiling spoke, she was about to pass the phone to Su Yun. Chief Zhua, why don't you talk to him? No need, it's the same if I talk to you. Zhua Meiyan directly said, just now, Wilsna's boss, Isolde Eccles, said Wilsna. He said that tonight, Pierce Can, the director of Director Akel's Arena, wants to direct the movie tonight. Director Arenas wants to meet you because he wants to communicate with you. I've already promised Mr. Isolde. Is that okay with you guys tonight? Ling Jiling nodded. I'm fine with it. Then let me ask. I'm fine with it too. Su Yun had already heard what Zhua Meiyan said on the phone. Anyway, the plan to lure the snake out of its hole tonight had been announced, so there was no need for him to be overly conflicted. He had to face what he had to face. When the time comes, there will be a way. Maybe meeting with the foreigner would give him more inspiration and ideas. After Zhua Meiyan heard Su Yun's voice, she lightly snorted and loudly said, Baby, I've already arranged for such a beautiful woman to accompany you. What are you still dissatisfied with? You sound so impatient. Did I disturb you guys doing something romantic? Ling Jiling was shocked. She hurriedly explained, Chief Zhua, no, it's just that the Crown Prince is in a bad mood. Crown Prince, haha, Jiling, but you're right. The old man has no wife or children, he's the only son. He's the Crown Prince of Sky Entertainment. Zhua Meiyan smiled and said, Jiling, I'll leave the Crown Prince in your care. I still have a meeting. I'll send you the time and location later. Don't be late. Goodbye. I understand, Chief Zhua. Ling Jiling nodded. Goodbye. After hanging up the phone for less than a minute, Ling Jiling received a text from Zhua Meiyan's assistant. Shangri-La Hotel Buffet Restaurant, 6:30 p.m. Su Yun stretched his head to take a look. This foreigner is really stingy. Buffet. Does that mean we have to buy our own meal coupons? Maybe it's a foreigner's habit. Buffet is buffet. Let's split the bill. We don't need to pay. Ling Jiling smiled. Su Yun shook his head disapprovingly. They all say that foreigners split the bill. That's their culture. To put it bluntly, they're not loyal. People who are loyal to their brothers will not separate themselves so clearly from their friends in any country. What Su Yun said was not wrong. In this day and age, who did not have a few foreign brothers? At the very least, the few guys that Su Yun knew were very loyal. When he was a guest, no one had ever played Dutch with him. It was all rock, paper, scissors. Whoever won would pay the bill. If they were not convinced and wanted to fight for the bill, then they would fight. That was what brothers should be. 6:30 p.m. It's already 5 p.m. Let's hurry back and change. It won't be good if we're late. The director is usually very punctual. Also, Director Pierce is a foreigner. I'm afraid he's even more punctual. Ling Jieling looked at her clothes and said, "Let's go back and change into something more formal." Su Yun shrugged. He didn't care. Women were really troublesome. He opened the window between him and the driver's seat and said to Wu Yuandong, who was driving, "Brother Dong, hurry back to the hotel. We need to change our clothes and meet the director at Shangri-La before 6:30 p.m. Zhuomeyan's call was a little too late. Wu Yuandong smiled. "Aren't all bosses like this? I knew that I had to send you to Suong this time. I received the notice in the middle of the night before." Su Yun was embarrassed. "It's mainly my fault. I suddenly asked to come early. Haha, I'll apologize later. I'll treat you to barbecue and beer." "Okay. Then sit tight. I'll try to speed up and give you and Miss Jieling more time to change." After Wu Yuandong finished speaking, he stepped on the accelerator a little harder. Ling Jieling smiled and said gratefully, "Thank you." Chapter 258. Time was like a woman's cleavage, it would always be there. Everyone understood this simple logic, so Su Yun and Ling Jieling arrived at the buffet restaurant of Shangri-La on time. As the driver, Wu Yuandong naturally knew his identity. He stayed beside the car and lit a cigarette, leisurely. After entering the restaurant, Su Yun looked around every corner but did not see any blonde foreigners. He then looked at the time. Wasn't it already 6:25 p.m.? Did we overestimate Director Pierce? Su Yun did not believe that the foreigner would be so punctual. If he could arrive at 6:30 p.m. on time, he would have to hide in the toilet first. Ling Jieling smiled. There are still 5 minutes left. Furthermore, Director Pierce is also a person of status. He might put on airs. A person of status? My impression of a foreign director is James Cameron, who filmed Titanic. Cameron, who filmed Raiders of the Lost Ark. Spielberg, who filmed Star Wars. Lucas, who filmed the Pirates of the Caribbean series. Golubinsky, Robert Jackson. Zemeckis and Peter. Jackson is also not bad. But I really have not heard of Pierce. Arenas, although this name sounds like the combination of Truth and Agent Zero in the NBA, he is actually just a small character in an advertisement, right? Although what Su Yun said was true, Ling Jieling still didn't want him to have a conflict with the director before he even met him. Although Director Pierce hadn't shot a movie before, he was one of the top directors in the advertising industry. Many luxury brand commercials would look for him because his style of shooting was different from ordinary commercials. It was very suitable for these luxury brands. If not for the change of director in his old company, Victoria's Secret, Pierce would not have been willing to film Wales. Although Wales was a rising star and had the potential to overturn the traditional underwear overlord, Victoria's Secret, its brand and commercial influence were not as good as the old overlord. Even if the boss behind the scenes was Isolde, it would not be so easy for Eccles to become the leader. "Shall we eat first?" Su Yun touched his stomach. He was really hungry after playing with water in the afternoon. Ling Jieling was in a dilemma. She didn't want Su Yun to embarrass Director Pierce, nor did she want Su Yun to be in a bad mood. She could only ask softly, "Prince, why don't we wait a little longer? As for courtesy, let's just treat it as a pleasure to have friends visiting from afar." Su Yun looked at his watch again. "It's already time. Do all directors like to be late? If you're not late, you'll look like you have no status. Ugly people are always up to no good." Su Yun knew 100 times more famous Hollywood directors than Pierce, but none of them were late. The Dragon Fury team had once participated in an international cooperative rescue operation. The kidnapper was a very famous Jewish big boss. Those directors were respectful in front of him, let alone in front of Su Yun. Then why don't you eat first? Ling Jiling's face was full of awkwardness. She was really in a difficult position. Although she had to take into account the director's identity and face, she couldn't ignore her prince's face. Forget it, let's wait for him. Su Yun really didn't want to eat. He was just angry at the director's mother. They had clearly agreed to meet tomorrow, but he suddenly changed it to tonight. Now that they were here, the guy was actually late. He simply didn't take them seriously. After about 20 minutes, a foreigner with deep eye sockets and a high-nosed bridge walked into the restaurant accompanied by a young man from Huaxia. Seeing that the two were looking for her, Ling Jiling immediately stood up, took off her sunglasses, and said in English with a smile, "Hello, are you Mr. Pierce?" The foreigner was stunned, then looked at the young man next to him and said in fluent American English, "It seems that I don't need you. You can go to the other side and eat something." The young man next to him was obviously a translator. He immediately thanked him and said that if he needed anything, he could call him immediately. Just as he was about to leave to get something to eat, Pierce called him again and asked him to help him get a steak, some pasta, and coffee. Su Yun thought that this guy was really arrogant. Maybe he had been in Huaxia for too long. Otherwise, even President Obama knew to hold an umbrella when it was raining. How could he, an advertising director, ask others to get food for him when he was eating buffet? "Mr. Pierce, please sit down." Ling Jiling's iconic Oriental beauty smile really made Pierce feel amazed. My God, I didn't expect Miss Jiling to be so beautiful. Pierce's performance was quite gentlemanly. Ling Jiling was about to introduce Su Yun when Su Yun suddenly stood up and said, "I'm going to get something to eat." This was really awkward. Ling Jiling couldn't stop Su Yun in front of Pierce, nor could she explain anything to Pierce in front of Su Yun. Seeing Su Yun leave to get food, she smiled awkwardly. Pierce opened his eyes wide and asked with a blank and innocent look, "Who is he?" "Your assistant." "Oh no, how can such an impolite person be worthy of being the assistant of such a beautiful Miss Jiling?" "Thank you for your compliment." Ling Jiling smiled politely and then explained, "He's not my assistant. He's the male lead of this advertising film, and also our Sky Entertainment Group's." "Oh, no." Pierce's expression was very exaggerated. "How could it be like this? I want actors with basic qualities, and he obviously doesn't meet my requirements." Ling Jiling originally wanted to say the words successor, but all of it was swallowed back into her throat. At this time, Pierce's translator brought over the things he wanted. Su Yun also came back with food. The translator glanced at Su Yun, and Su Yun also glanced at him, and then said, "You're a translator?" "Yes." The translator nodded. "A translator just needs to do a good job. This kind of work is done by the odd jobs. He doesn't give you a second salary, so why are you spoiling him? Aren't you afraid of spoiling him?" Su Yun said this in front of Ling Jiling and Pierce. He was bullying this foreigner because he didn't understand Chinese. Although Pierce didn't understand Chinese, he could tell from Su Yun's tone and expression that he wasn't friendly. He immediately questioned his translator. "What did he say?" The translator hurriedly tried to explain, but he was a little confused and didn't know how to explain. "No, nothing." He said. Ling Jiling was quick-witted and hurriedly explained in English, "He meant to ask your translator to learn more about fitness from you. Look at how thin he is. He's so weak that he can't even stand a gust of wind." As she said that, Ling Jiling secretly gave the translator a look. The translator didn't want to cause trouble, so he nodded and said yes in English. Su Yun snorted and whispered, "Choke to death my ass. You're not good, but you're putting on airs." "Oh, ha ha ha." Pierce thought that Su Yun was praising his great figure, so he said very politely, "Thank you." Su Yun smiled helplessly in his heart. This foreigner was really stupid. He believed everything he said. It seemed that learning another language was really important. Su Yun dared to say that even if he smiled at Pierce and said F***CKU, Pierce would probably smile and say 3 grams of oil to himself. "Here, is there anything else you want to eat? I'll get it for you." I really don't want to look at this foreigner for another minute. Su-yun didn't care at all because this foreigner didn't understand Chinese. Ling Zhiling pleaded, "That's enough. Prince, let's talk to him properly. Just bear with it, okay?" Pierce saw Ling Zhiling's embarrassed expression and couldn't help but ask her, "Miss Ling Zhiling, is there anything I can help you with? Is there something that your assistant can't do?" No, Mr. Pierce. He doesn't understand English, so he feels awkward here." Ling Zhiling casually made up an explanation again. "How about this, if you have anything to talk to us about, I'll help you convey it." Pierce sneered and said in cold English, "If my advertisement character can't fully understand my meaning, then it's better to change him. If he doesn't even understand English, then his character must be very ordinary. How can he be worthy of Vernus's elegance and luxury?" The embarrassment on Ling Zhiling's face became more obvious. She could only be glad that Su-yun didn't understand English, so she could think of a way to deal with him. Su-yun showed a playful smile on his face and looked at this foreigner. "Prince Pai, Mr. Pierce said that he wants to talk to us about the details of the advertisement. Let's listen carefully." Ling Zhiling said to Su-yun and then to Pierce in English, "Mr. Pierce, I'm really sorry. This is the role that President Zhua and Mr. Isolde decided on together, so I hope you can bear with it." Pierce snorted, "Then tell him that even if he was chosen by Mr. Isolde, I have the right to change him. So tell him to show some respect in front of me. This is an international advertisement. As an artist, he should feel honored to be in such an advertisement." "Okay, I'll help you convey it." Ling Zhiling smiled apologetically and then threw a pleading look at Su-yun. "Prince, this is something that President will wants to help with. Can you bear with it for a while? If there's anything, we can talk about it later. Also, Mr. Pierce has already made a concession. He said that he hopes to work with you happily." Su-yun grinned slightly. "Sister Zhiling, even if I don't understand English, I can tell that he's not saying anything good just by looking at his expression. He hopes to work with me happily? His expression looks like he can't wait to change me." Chapter 259. What kind of person was Su-yun? He was the former instructor of the Dragon Brigade's Yen-Long Special Forces. Even Oolong, who had the worst language talent, was proficient in Chinese, English, and French. He also knew a thing or two about the other 5 languages. Su-yun was even more so. Other than his mother tongue, he was also proficient in English, Russian, French, Japanese, German, Spanish, Korean, Thai, Portuguese, and more than 10 other languages. He even knew Esperanto, which was created by Dr. Zamenhof on the basis of the Indo-European language family. There were only 1,000 native speakers of Esperanto in the world, and those who could speak it fluently were at most a few 100,000. How could English be worth mentioning? Even difficult English songs like Yao Yao, Check Coo Coo, Kong Moo's North Nose is Enough to Eat Dog, Gaeta O'Hare Feeding Hook, Ire Body Too Old were easily recited by Su-yun. How could he not understand the shoddy American English of a third-rate foreign director? What a joke. Sister Zhiling, don't be so hard on yourself. I can understand English. Su-yun knew that Ling Zhiling had good intentions. He also hoped that they could end the shooting of this commercial happily. This way, he could explain it to Zhou Meiyan when he went back. However, he hated this feeling of foreigners looking down on Chinese people. Perhaps it was because of his background, but Su-yun was especially sensitive to this point. In the long history of Huaxia, there were painful memories of being bullied by foreign powers. This was something that no Huaxia person was willing to talk about. It was also something that no Huaxia person with a conscience would forget. Although the world was peaceful now, that was under the premise that the other party was friendly and polite to them. To make an inappropriate analogy, a person who violated your hospital's rules and raped your chrysanthemum would think highly of you because you were strong. However, his descendants would think that their father had raped your chrysanthemum and would look down on your descendants. What would your descendants do then? Those with a fiery temper would definitely explode back. Even if they had a good temper, it would depend on who they were dealing with. While Ling Jiling was dumbfounded by Su Yun's, "I can understand English," Su Yun had already said to Director Pierce in fluent English, "put away your arrogant attitude. You're here to work for Mr. Isolde, and we're here to give Mr. Isolde face. Our identities are really different, but it's not like you're higher than me. It's just that I'm high and you're low. Understand?" Pierce's expression was instantly stunned. He didn't expect that the low-quality actor in his eyes could speak such fluent English. "Just because you don't know English, does that mean you're uncultured? Haha, what kind of joke is this? I think those who don't know Chinese are the ones with low standards. Mandarin was the most spoken language in the world. Most of the people were native speakers of Chinese. Whether it's English, French, or Russian, it's all because we learned the most difficult language in the world. It's not because we think highly of you." Su Yun's English was indeed enough to kill a level 8 professional super translator. Compared to French, which doesn't say 76, but says 60 plus 16, and Russian, which is tongue-twisting, your English is really too simple. Your country is a country of immigrants. Do you know why English is the national language? Because your average IQ can only learn the simplest language. Dear, don't look down on Huaxia people. It's not that Huaxia people can't learn English, it's just that they don't care about it. If they want to learn, they only need to spend 3 years in high school from the age of 15 to 18 to reach the 4th level that many of you Americans can't pass. Their vocabulary is several times higher than that of you Americans. They can use F*CKU to make up more than a dozen curses to curse you until your ancestors crawl out of their graves. Understand? Pierce's eyes were as big as a cowbell. Ling Jiling's jaw almost fell to the ground. Her English was not bad, but her brain couldn't keep up with Su Yun's pace. If it wasn't for Su Yun's accurate pronunciation, she might not even understand. Meanwhile, the translator sitting at the other table dropped the spoon in his hand. He had to admit that in his 8 years of working as a translator, this was the best English-speaking person he had ever seen in the world. He really suspected that he was the one who created this language. Don't use your ignorance as a personality. After Su Yun finished his last sentence, he calmly took a sip of the milk tea on the table and continued in English. If you want to talk about the advertisement, we can continue to talk. If you want to find your sense of superiority, then I'm sorry, I won't accompany you. There was a type of person in the world who was the most terrifying. They were the people who drove the domestic BMW 316 and still found their sense of superiority. Obviously, Pierce was such a person. He felt that he was so good after shooting some advertisements for luxury brands. He didn't know that even if he shot a luxury brand advertisement, it was only an advertisement. It could never be compared with Spielberg's Raiders of the Lost Arkansas. It was the same logic as the 280,000 yuan domestic 316. I couldn't be compared with the 7 million yuan imported 760 li. Oh, I'm sorry. I take back what I said before. You are a high-quality person. You let me know how smart Huaxia people are. Pierce was really shocked by Su Yun. He really didn't expect the young man in front of him to refute him in such fluent English. If he had a debate with him, he was sure that he would be the one who lost. Su Yun raised his eyebrows. Then can we start talking about the advertisement? Of course, of course. Pierce nodded. Let's talk while eating. Su Yun smiled slightly. Do you want a drink? Did you learn from our Huaxia people? Does everything have to be decided at the dinner table? Pierce didn't understand the meaning of Su Yun's words. He looked at Ling Jiling blankly. Ling Jiling finally breathed a sigh of relief. She smiled and explained to Pierce, Mr. Pierce, Su Yun meant that our Huaxia people have a wine table culture. That is, a lot of things can only be decided by drinking. If you don't eat and drink, you can't talk about it. Pierce nodded in realization. Then he said to Su Yun, I can drink, but I'm not used to Huaxia's white wine. I prefer whiskey. I also like whiskey. Su Yun nodded. But you have to pay for the drinks here. Originally, I thought that this nearly 200 yuan meal was expensive enough. At the same price, Gold Leopard's buffet has more variety than this. Pierce immediately snapped his fingers to his interpreter. "You help me go to the room and bring down the whiskey I brought." The interpreter didn't say anything. He wiped his mouth and left. Pierce shook his head helplessly. "I hope you don't mind. I brought my own drink because I bought whiskey 10 times in Huaxia. 8 times, the taste wasn't quite right." Su Yun nodded. "You're right about this. There's no other way. We Huaxia people are smart. The whiskey you drink, we Huaxia people only need a little industrial alcohol and coloring." Oh my God! Pierce was instantly dumbfounded. Industrial alcohol? That was enough to kill someone. "It's okay. Don't worry about your body. We Huaxia have a lot of young men and young girls who drink fake alcohol in bars every day. They're all living well. You won't have a problem drinking 8 or 10 times." Su Yun said with a smile. This really made Pierce confused. Ling Jiling had no choice but to help. "Mr. Pierce, he likes to joke. Please don't mind him. Hee, let's talk about the shooting of our advertisement." "Okay, then I'll express my point of view now." Pierce also moved away from Su Yun's chatter and started to talk about his advertising concept. After talking for a long time, Su Yun summed it up with one word: sexy. Because the word Pierce used the most was sexy. Every time he said sexy, he would be so excited that he would dance and cover his chest. After his interpreter brought down the whiskey he brought all the way from America and had a drink with Su Yun, they chatted even more enthusiastically. Because most of the actions described by Pierce were particularly sexy and seductive, Ling Jiling found it hard to accept for a while. Su Yun also felt that this foreigner was up to no good. When he said that he needed Ling Jiling to show off here and there, his eyes shone with a green light and he was quite excited. After the 3 of them finished eating, Pierce directly invited Ling Jiling to his room for a chat. He said that he wanted to show Ling Jiling her posture during the shooting and give her some pointers first. Ling Jiling wanted to refuse, but she didn't know how to. She couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Su Yun certainly couldn't ignore this at this time. "Director Pierce, if that's the case, I think I should go with you. After all, the person who will cooperate with Miss Jiling will be me, not you. If only her actions are elegant and seductive, and I'm like a block of wood, I'm afraid it's not suitable, right?" Pierce frowned and looked at Su Yun. He was speechless at Su Yun's lack of tact, so he was a little impatient. "Mr. Su, as a man, I want to say that as long as Miss Ling's performance is good, you only need to act as yourself because I believe that no man can resist Miss Ling's seduction. So you don't need any pointers. I just want to remind you not to be too involved during the shooting. After all, it's an underwear advertisement. If you have a man's reaction, I'm afraid it's not okay. So, before the shooting, think of a way to solve it. I don't mind you spending money to find a woman." Su Yun and Ling Jiling were dumbfounded by his words. Su Yun was surprised. "Mr. Pierce, what do you mean by spending money to find a woman? I don't quite understand." "Oh, Mr. Su, there are a lot of women in Huaxia for sale. At least there are a lot of them in this hotel. As long as you are willing to pay, they will naturally help you solve the problem." Pierce looked proud. "Haha, and I think their skills are very good, enough to make your legs weak." Chapter 260. Knowing that Pierce was a person who liked to visit prostitutes, Ling Jiling couldn't help but take a step away from him. Who knew if he was sick or not? Now she didn't dare to go to his room with Pierce. Viruses and germs. Just thinking about it made her feel disgusted and horrified. Originally, this foreigner had a lot of hair and looked like an unevolved animal. If his private life was more chaotic, it would really make people think that he was an animal full of desire and couldn't control his instincts. Ling Jiling really doubted whether she would be able to escape unscathed if she really followed Pierce into his room. Although she had once thought that she had the blessings of the gods many times, there was an old saying that if one walked by the river often, one's shoes would get wet. Therefore, Ling Jiling was worried that her shoes would really get wet one day. In order to ensure her safety, Ling Jiling resolutely rejected Pierce's invitation this time. Mr. Pierce, I'm a professional actress. I hope you believe in my acting skills. I also promise you that I'll do it to your satisfaction. But I'm not feeling well today, so I want to go back and rest early. Oh, not feeling well? Then where are you feeling unwell? Do you want to rest in my room first? I'll call the doctor for you. Pierce opened his mouth in surprise. Miss Ling, you don't have to be polite with me. I like to serve beautiful women. Su Yun could guess that Pierce was up to no good. He simply cut off his thoughts. Pierce, this is Hua Xia, not the United States. There's no private doctor for you. Miss Ling is not feeling well because she lacks rest, so she just needs to go back and sleep. I won't bother you. The American man didn't seem to understand Su Yun's meaning. He didn't know that Su Yun was beating around the bush to save him face. He insisted, if Miss Ling is not feeling well, it's not suitable for her to take the car. Besides, the wind in Suong is cold at night. I'm staying in this hotel. Why don't you go to my room to rest? Mr. Su, I have a wife and a daughter. I know how to take care of girls who are not feeling well. Su Yun said impatiently, you know how to take care of people. I know that, but you don't understand what I mean, do you? She needs to go back to her hotel to rest. I don't want to repeat myself. Besides, our RV is parked at the entrance, and there's a bed in the RV. I can let Miss Ling rest in the RV instead of sitting. Pierce seemed to understand. Although his expression was unwilling, he still shrugged his shoulders. All right, then please help yourselves. I won't see you off. Mr. Pierce, I'm really sorry. Ling Zhiling apologized before leaving. She didn't want to offend Pierce. Oh, no, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I'm the one who should be apologizing because I can't serve Miss Ling. Pierce wasn't annoyed by Ling Zhiling, but he didn't have a good impression of Su Yun. If he hadn't been shocked by Su Yun's eloquence, he wouldn't have even been willing to have dinner with Su Yun. Su Yun waved his hand casually. Goodbye. Don't see me out. After saying that, Su Yun found that some people in the hotel had recognized Ling Zhiling. He whispered to Ling Zhiling to leave quickly. He didn't want her to be surrounded by people asking for autographs. If she met someone who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth and wanted to take advantage of her, he would have to be rough again. After all, those who could afford to stay in a 5-star luxury hotel were either people with power or big tycoons. Most of these people were domineering. Pierce looked at the two people who left quickly and shook his head helplessly. He said to the interpreter beside him, "Help me call Mr. Isolde. I'm really dissatisfied with this young actor." Of course, he was dissatisfied with someone who ruined his plans. Zhua Meiyan had French food with her brother Zhua Yeming in the evening. When she returned home and was about to rest, she received a call from Isolde. Although Isolde wasn't a member of the entertainment and film industry, he had a good relationship with several big shots in Hollywood. That was why Zhua Meiyan had interacted with him. If Isolde had made a request for something else, she wouldn't have refused. However, he actually said that he wanted to change the male lead, which meant that he wanted to remove Su Yun. Of course, this was absolutely impossible. She didn't care whether Su Yun appeared on screen or not, nor did she care whether she had to pay to find another actor. What she cared about was Su Yun's face. This person was one of the two men she respected the most in the world. He was the only one she loved the most, so she absolutely wouldn't allow anyone to say anything bad about him. When Zhua Meiyan heard Isolde say that the director wanted to change the male lead, saying that the role didn't match the temperament, she only said, "Mr. Isolde, I'm in the film industry, the entertainment industry, and also the fashion industry. You should trust my judgment. I think that man is the sexiest man in the world. If Director Pierce doesn't think that he's qualified to be a partner with a lady wearing your brand's underwear, then I believe that no one else in the world is qualified. If you insist on changing the role, I'm sorry, but I'll withdraw both of my actors. I apologize to you on behalf of Mr. Zhang in heaven. If you still think that Ms. Ling Zhiling is needed, then I think that the only suitable person is Mr. Su Yun. I think you can consider changing the director." Isolde didn't expect that Zhua Meiyan, who was always easy to talk to, would be so resolute. After apologizing, he decided to continue using Su Yun and Ling Jiling. When he told his assistant to report back to Pierce, Pierce was simply furious. However, he was here to make money, so he could only be helpless. The person who paid the money was always the boss. Pierce even hoped that he would act as the male lead himself, but unfortunately, not even a trace of muscle could be seen on his rotting abdomen. When Su Yun and Ling Jiling arrived at the hotel, he received a call from Zhua Meiyan. When she said, "Baby," Su Yun had goosebumps all over his body. "How did you offend that director?" "Haha, was it a hero saving a damsel in distress?" Zhua Meiyan easily guessed. Ling Jiling was hot and sexy, so it was inevitable that people would be attracted to her. Plus, Su Yun was the kind of man who couldn't bear to see the girl around him suffer. Therefore, Zhua Meiyan was certain that her guess was correct. Su Yun didn't deny it. He only smiled slightly. "It's not a hero saving a damsel in distress. I just don't want a third-rate director to act all high and mighty in front of Sky Entertainment. If you were here, you would definitely do the same." "Huh? You admit that Sky Entertainment has something to do with you?" Zhua Meiyan was stunned for a moment. Then, she smiled brightly. "Sky Entertainment is yours, so of course you have the right to protect the artists in your company." "I've already done as you said. Mr. Isolde just called me. He said that Pierce wants to change the actor." "Haha, I told him that it's impossible to change the actor. If we can't work together, then I'll ask him to change the director." Su Yun was quite satisfied with Zhua Meiyan's actions. "Yes, that's a good idea. But now that things have come to this, it's impossible to change the director. Haha, and that Pierce won't stop earning money just because he's unhappy with me." "Then I wish you all the best." Zhua Meiyan smiled. "Say goodnight to me, baby." At this moment, Zhua Yeming, who was listening to Zhua Meiyan on the phone, couldn't help but shake off the goosebumps on his body. "Sis, can you be any more disgusting? Now I understand why my future brother-in-law was avoiding you from the beginning. He was afraid of being disgusted by you." Scram! Zhua Meiyan almost threw the phone away. Su Yun took the opportunity to quickly say, "Go teach your brother how to behave. Good night." He hurriedly hung up the phone. Zhua Meiyan humphed, feeling very unhappy. After all, Su Yun had protected another woman. Although she agreed to let Su Yun go with Ling Jiling, she still felt a little jealous. It couldn't be helped. A woman was a woman. Being jealous wouldn't change. Ling Jiling looked at Su Yun with her eyes wide open and said in surprise, "I didn't expect President Zhua to reject Mr. Isolde for your sake. Maybe she thinks that if the old man was still alive, he would do the same." Su Yun smiled. Thinking of his godfather, he felt quite emotional. Next year, he would definitely go to the place where he was living now and bring a bottle of his favorite cheap, sweet, and mellow Red Star Erguotu. Ling Jiling saw Su Yun's deep eyes and knew that he was reminiscing about the past, so she didn't disturb him. She quietly sat on the side and took out her tablet to record some of the seductive actions that Pierce had told her. Su Yun's mind was in a mess. He was still thinking about his godfather, Guagua, and Ruan Qingshuang. Then he thought of Cho Yun, who was still under the control of Green Ghost. Now he could only pray that Cho Yun could hold on by herself. He had to find a way to let Wang Ruping lure Green Ghost out as soon as possible. However, Wang Ruping wasn't a completely trustworthy person. It was impossible to expect him to take the initiative to think of a way. And now Su Yun really didn't know what else to do. After all, he didn't know Green Ghost. At this point, Su Yun could only use a high-pressure policy. After thinking about it, he picked up his phone and walked out of the room. Su Yun lit a cigarette as he dialed Wang Ruping's number. When Wang Ruping picked up the phone, he went straight to the point. "Wang Wudu, I'll give you 2 days. You have to find a way to ask Green Ghost out. This is an order from above. If you can't do it, be careful that you won't be able to keep your position. Also, don't even think about running away. Your every move is under our control. If you show any signs of running away, it'll be considered an absconder." Wang Ruping had just sent the two little actresses to Green Ghost. When he got home, he didn't even have a sip of water before he received a call from Su Yun. He really felt like he was being driven crazy. He felt that there were eyes all around him. He could only bitterly say, "What can I do? Green Ghost isn't. You guys are simply forcing me to do something I can't do. Think of a way." Su Yun threw this sentence at Wang Ruping. Wang Ruping was so angry that he cursed in his heart. However, he didn't dare to curse out loud. Su Yun was forcing him like this because he couldn't think of a better way. He could only feel embarrassed. 2 days. There's plenty of time. Think about it carefully. 2 days was quite a lot of time. Su Yun felt that 2 days was already Cho Yun's limit. Phew, he was really depressed. He felt especially sorry for Cho Yun and Guagua. If he hadn't gone to Jibei City to help Tang Jiu, perhaps Cho Yun wouldn't have come to Suong City alone. Then, she wouldn't have given Green Ghost a chance to capture her. Chapter 261. Wang Ruping, who was in a high-pressure state, was even more anxious at this moment. Su Yun wanted him to lure Green Ghost out. Could it be that he wanted to set a trap outside? Green Ghost didn't leave the house now because he sensed danger? Wang Ruping was known for his sharp mind in the police circle, but now he didn't understand why Su Yun and the others had to wait for Green Ghost to leave the Lakeside Villa district before they could make a move. If they were really determined to make a move on him, would they need to consider the occasion? For some reason, Wang Ruping suddenly scolded in his big living room tentatively. "You who are spying on me, listen carefully. I'm King done now. I'll leave here right away. If you have the ability, come out and stop me." Then, Wang Ruping waited in fear for more than 10 minutes as if he was walking on thin ice. The room was so quiet that even a needle dropping on the ground could be heard. Finally, Wang Ruping gathered his courage and began to boldly doubt Su Yun's warning. Wang Ruping was a smart person. He felt that if Su Yun really had so many people who could secretly spy on him, then they must have the ability to enter Green Ghost's place. Why would they use him? If they were really a team, why did they have to lure the snake out of its hole and directly surround the Lakeside Villa district? Wouldn't that be like catching a turtle in a jar? Wouldn't it be more certain? After thinking about it, Wang Ruping felt that Su Yun was probably just one person. He didn't have his so-called helpers at all. That was why Wang Ruping dared to shout boldly. In the end, when he shouted, there was really no movement or reaction. F***CK. Wang Ruping crushed the whole box of cigarettes in his hand and threw it on the ground. It turned out that Su Yun really tricked him, causing him to tremble in fear these days. Since no one was watching him, of course, he wouldn't just sit there and wait for death. Wang Ruping's mind was full of perverted thoughts. He picked up his coat and car keys and walked out of the room without looking back. Then, he quickly drove away from the Fugui Garden Community's single-courtyard duplex house and left through the gate of Fugui Garden Community. Inside a silver minivan at the entrance, Zhu Laohei, who had been working so hard that his eyes had turned black, instantly became energetic. An hour ago, he received a call from Grandpa Yen. Grandpa Yen asked him to stay in Wang Ruping's neighborhood and inform him as soon as he came out. "Keep up. Be careful, don't get caught." Zhu Laohei ordered the driver as he quickly dialed the number that Su Yun gave him. The phone in the hotel rang. Ling Jiling was quite surprised. She suspected that it was the kind of harassment call that would ask if she wanted a massage. She was about to unplug the phone. Su Yun picked up the phone and said in a low voice, "Hello. Grandpa Yen. Wang Ruping came out of the house." Zhu Laohei's croaky voice was quite unique, and the way he addressed Su Yun was also very special. Even though Ling Jiling was beside them, she quickly recalled the night when they were taken away by the police and handed over to the underworld. Su Yun didn't hide it from Ling Jiling and ordered, "Did you follow my instructions and find an unfamiliar car?" Yes, I got a Toyota Provia from the second-hand market. I followed your instructions and put on a fake, Beijing, license plate." Zhu Laohei said, Grandpa Yen, don't worry. Even if my wife comes, she won't know that it's mine. I also put on a brand new black film. No one will see it. The driver is my most valued subordinate. I promise to be careful. Then follow closely. Try to hide as much as possible and report to me his driving route at any time. Su Yun was very satisfied. He didn't expect that the poacher who had been hiding in the Chongbai mountain all year round was so careful. Perhaps if he wasn't so careful, he would have been caught by the forest police. Although Zhu Laohei had done a lot of things that violated the national animal protection law, fortunately, he wasn't a heinous person. At least, he didn't have a murder case. If used well, he would be a good helper. After all, he was at least a second-rate master. Yes. He is now driving east on Fugui Avenue. Looking at this route, he should be heading to the unit. Zhu Laohei reported to Su Yun while directing his subordinate to follow carefully. Su Yun took out his phone from his pocket and quickly dialed Wang Rupieng's number. Wang Rupieng was still angrily driving. After seeing Su Yun's call, he was even angrier. But he still tried to make his voice sound calm. He picked up the phone and said, "It's so late. What's the matter? I'm already asleep." He said this to see how Su Yun would answer. If Su Yun foolishly believed that he was asleep, then he would immediately expose Su Yun's words. He would expose him without leaving any face. Asleep? Haha, Wang Wudu, I didn't expect you to be able to drive and answer the phone while sleepwalking. Su Yun's tone was understated. If you're asleep, then who is driving the car east on Fugui Avenue? Wang Rupieng's heart instantly jumped to his throat. Coincidentally, the car came to a crossroad. He didn't care about the dangerous violation and directly turned the car to the westbound lane. Of course, Zhu Laohei immediately told Su Yun Wang Rupieng's reaction. Su Yun didn't hang up the two calls. After receiving Zhu Laohei's report, Su Yun smiled and continued to speak to Wang Rupieng on the other end of the phone. Wang Wudu, it's useless to turn around. Have you forgotten what I told you? There's nothing you can do that can escape my eyes. Wang Rupieng stepped on the brakes and stopped the car in the middle of the road. He didn't care about the danger now. After stopping the car, Wang Wudu looked in the car crazily. He suspected that Su Yun installed a camera in his car. He jumped out of the car and ran straight ahead. His reaction really shocked Zhu Laohei, who had been following him. Zhu Laohei looked at Wang Rupieng, who was running away with a blank face, and said to Su Yun, "Master Yen, he abandoned the car and ran away. What should we do?" "You also get out of the car and follow him secretly. Don't let him find you," Su Yun ordered. Then, he released the phone's microphone and said to Wang Rupieng, "It's useless even if you get out of the car. I'll say it one last time. No matter what you do, you can't escape my eyes. So, get the hell back home and think of a way to lure Green Ghost out." Wang Rupieng was scared. He was so scared that he wanted to pee in his pants. Especially after Su Yun hung up the phone, it was as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over his heart. Who was it that was spying on him? Why didn't anyone stand up when he was scolding at home? Fear covered Wang Rupieng's whole body. In the end, Wang Rupieng gave up his previous crooked thoughts and obediently drove back home. Originally, Zhu Laohei didn't understand why Master Yen wanted him to come out. Now he understood. Master Yen wanted him to see how Wang Rupieng was driven crazy by Master Yen. Zhu Laohei's Adam's apple moved and he swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva. "Master Yen, I really didn't mean to go against you," Zhu Laohei said carefully. This Wang Rupieng, what's wrong with him? You didn't give him some medicine to make him lose his mind, did you?" Su Yun just told Zhu Laohei to continue watching and directly hung up the phone in the hotel. Zhu Laohei didn't dare to disobey. He obediently followed Wang Rupieng's car back to Fugui Garden and continued to wait at the entrance. No matter how many days it took, he would do whatever Master Yen told him to do. He would just treat it as if he was waiting here to hunt a wild boar king that weighed more than 800 pounds. Although Ling Jiling had been standing beside Su Yun the whole time, she still didn't understand what he was doing on the phone. However, She was very clear that the two people on the phone with Su Yun were people she saw that night. She didn't know where to start asking about what happened to Prince. It seemed that Su Yun was right. She couldn't help at all. Prince, take an early shower and rest today. We're going to Wilsna's filming location tomorrow. Ling Jiling was now officially staying in Su Yun's room. Su Yun nodded. Currently, Wang Rupiang's thoughts of causing trouble had been extinguished. He could finally sleep peacefully. He knew that Wang Rupiang would have evil intentions sooner or later. Fortunately, after he met Zhu Laohei at the coffee shop that night, he arranged for Zhu Laohei to watch over Wang Rupiang. It seemed that he made the right move. Because she had been thinking about too many things for the past few days, Su Yun only realized something very embarrassing after taking a shower. She didn't bring in a change of clothes, and the clothes she had worn were already wet by accident. As Su Yun and Ling Jiling had been living in the same room ever since they came to Suang, they didn't wear bathrobes to avoid suspicion. When Ling Jiling asked the hotel staff to take away the clothes that were supposed to be sent for dry cleaning, she had already asked the staff to remove the bathrobes. This was also to avoid embarrassment if he wore it on his body. Therefore, Su Yun didn't have anything to wear now. The only thing he could use to cover himself was the hotel's rather wide bath towel. At least if he tied it around his waist, it could prevent his little brother from being exposed. After drying his hair, Su Yun could only walk out with the bath towel wrapped around his lower body and his upper body naked. Ling Jiling didn't expect Su Yun to appear in such a scene. She was instantly stunned. She looked at Su Yun blankly. Her white and tender face instantly turned as red as an apple. She could feel that it was hot when she touched it. Hee, my brain, I forgot to bring in a change of clothes just now. After all, Su Yun was a man. This little embarrassment didn't matter. Moreover, they were all in swimsuits this afternoon. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like they hadn't seen what should be seen before. He took out his luggage and muttered, "If I had known earlier, I would have brought 2 more pairs of underwear. I thought they would give me a few pairs to wear before shooting the commercial. In the end, they didn't give me a single pair. They are really stingy." But Ling Jiling couldn't. Wearing a swimsuit in Waterworld was a matter of course. She could wear a bikini in the swimming pool to show off her perfect figure, but it was absolutely impossible for her to face Su Yun in this room in only her underwear. Su Yun only had a towel wrapped around his body, and from the way he was talking to himself, it seemed like the inside of the towel was empty. Chapter 262. After Ling Jiling ran into the bathroom, she quickly turned on the cold water and splashed her face a few times. She didn't know why, but her mind was full of wild images. For a moment, she imagined that Su Yun would suddenly pick her up and throw her on the bed. Then, he would gently and roughly undress her, and finally peel her open like an orange, revealing her seductive body. Whoosh. It seemed that the cold water wasn't enough. Ling Jiling stood under the shower and turned the cold water to the maximum. The instant cold woke her up. Perhaps it was because Pierce had told her too many scenes that would be involved in the shooting of the advertisement tomorrow at Shangri-La. Because the advertisement was designed to be sexy and charming, there would be a scene where the male lead couldn't resist the temptation of the female lead. After all, Ling Jiling was a professional actress. She was completely in a professional state when she was listening to the director's design. Now that she was back in the hotel, she took off her professional state and was obviously a delicate and lovely young woman. And the male lead she was going to seduce in the advertisement was right next to her. At this moment, she knew that it wasn't an advertisement. Su Yun's current outfit could be clean and neat, just by taking off a little bit. Ling Jiling really couldn't resist the temptation. Women weren't the only ones who were naturally attractive to men. Su Yun, a man with unique charm, could also emit a special kind of charm at any time. In short, Ling Jiling had no resistance to Su Yun's unique charm. Perhaps it was because Su Yun was gentle at certain times, or because Su Yun was domineering at certain times, or even because he gave her a sense of security. These were all factors that attracted Ling Jiling. After all, it was the first time Ling Jiling went out without a team. She didn't expect that she would encounter so many accidents and troubles. She also didn't expect that these accidents and troubles were nothing in Soo-yun's eyes. He could solve so many problems for her with just a wave of his hand. What kind of man was he? He was like the wind? Ha. Achoo. Ling Jiling suddenly felt cold. It seemed that her weak body couldn't withstand the impact of the cold water at all. Moreover, she was still wearing clothes. After the clothes were wet, they stuck to her body and were cold. Just as Ling Jiling adjusted the water temperature and took off her wet clothes, her brain suddenly buzzed. Oh my God! This was a huge embarrassment. It didn't matter that Soo-yun forgot to take a change of clothes because he was a boy. He could go out with a towel wrapped around his waist, but she couldn't. Although the towel wasn't small, it wasn't big enough to cover the entire person. It's over. It's over. Ling Jiling's heart was burning, but it was too late to say anything now. It was all because of what Soo-yun had said just now that she had let her imagination run wild. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been so careless and ended up like this. No clothes. Ling Jiling thought about this question over and over again in her mind. Could she fill the bathtub with bubbles and lie in it, and then ask Soo-yun to help bring it in? This was because there would be a scene of her bathing in the commercial tomorrow. Of course, it was impossible to not wear clothes during the commercial. It would be fine as long as her shoulders and arms were exposed. But now, she really wasn't wearing anything. Although the bubble bath was enough to block the view, the feeling of not wearing anything and wearing something was definitely not the same feeling. At least, Ling Jiling felt guilty in her heart. But now, what other ideas did she have? Wait. If she asked Soo-yun to bring her clothes, wouldn't he help her find them in her suitcase? Then her underwear and such. She would definitely be more embarrassed now. Was there any other way? Ling Jiling let the hot water hit her delicate body. While she enjoyed the feeling of the shower, she was tormented by the thought of a solution. But it didn't work. In the end, Ling Jiling couldn't come up with a perfect solution. She had been in the bathroom for a full hour and a half. Now, she was really at her wit's end. She could only ask Soo-yun to help her find clothes and bring them in. She quickly filled the bathtub with bubbles, and then covered herself with bubbles. Just as she was about to ask Soo-yun for help, Soo-yun lightly knocked on the bathroom door and said, "Sister Jiling, I'm going to Brother Dong's place to do something. Are you okay by yourself?" Wow. I'm saved. I'm finally saved. Ling Jiling's heart, which was in her throat, instantly settled down. This feeling was really great. Once Soo-yun went out, she would have no more worries. Yes. You go. I can do it by myself. Ling Jiling's voice couldn't hide the excitement. Soo-yun really didn't expect her to agree so readily. He originally thought that Sister Jiling would definitely not agree. She would ask him to wait for her to finish bathing, and then take her with him. For this, Soo-yun expressed his understanding. After all, she was taken away by a few reckless nouveau riches in the room next door. Of course, she would be worried that such crazy people would appear again. The elevator in this room could go directly to the basement. As long as one person was arranged to guard the elevator on each floor, even asking for help would be a problem. Then, I'm really going? Soo-yun said, I'll be back soon. How long is soon? Ling Jiling was stunned and asked nervously. She had to grasp the time. If Soo-yun came back in a few minutes, then she would definitely go out to find clothes and bring them in. Soo-yun shook his head helplessly. It seemed that Sister Jiling still didn't want him to leave for too long. He mistook Ling Jiling's nervousness for being worried that he would be gone for too long. It'll be quick. How about 15 minutes? Phew. Ling Jiling breathed a sigh of relief. Okay. 15 minutes. Definitely. Soo-yun didn't have any cigarettes on him. He wanted to find Wu Yuandong to smoke. Now that he was upset, he didn't have any brothers to talk to, and he didn't have Ruan Qingxuang to take care of him. He missed the days in Hudong. He really wanted to say that he didn't smoke cigarettes. He was really lonely. Hearing the sound of Su Yun closing the door after he went out, Ling Jieling was so excited that she almost made a peace sign. However, considering her image, she quickly restrained that impulse. 15 minutes was enough for her to wash off the bubbles on her body, dry her hair, and leisurely put on a bath towel and go out to change clothes. Moreover, Huaxia people had a common characteristic. They liked to talk less about the time. Generally, something that was said to be done in 15 minutes would basically take half an hour. This was like asking a good friend out to play. When you arrived at the destination and found that the other party didn't come, you would call him and ask where he was. He would say that he would be there in 2 minutes. But in fact, he might have just crawled out of bed. This was also a lie. It was just like a habit of some Huaxia people. And this habit was basically learned from the civil servants. Everyone understood. After washing off the bubbles on her body, Ling Jieling hummed a song while drying her hair with a hairdryer. She picked up the bath towel and put it in front of her chest. Then, she tucked the other end under her left armpit. The length of the bath towel was just enough to cover the bottom of her butt. After admiring her perfect figure and delicate white skin in the mirror, Ling Jieling walked out of the bathroom unhurriedly. Her sense of time was very strong. Perhaps it was because of her profession. She knew that she took 3 to 4 minutes to hum a song. Now that she had hummed it twice, it must have been less than 10 minutes. She still had enough time to find clothes and change clothes. However, God seemed to have played a big joke on her. Just as Ling Jieling found 2 sets of underwear and was thinking about which one to wear, the sound of a room card swiping came from the door. Then, it was pushed open with a click. "Let me admire the fair lady first, I have to woo the hot girl." Su Yun hummed his nameless song as he walked in. Su Yun smoked a cigarette for 5 minutes. Moreover, he just wanted to get some fresh air and adjust his state of mind. After adjusting his state of mind, Su Yun didn't have so many things to worry about. Thinking about the 15 minutes he promised Ling Jieling, he felt that it was better to come back earlier than later. Indeed, Su Yun had profited by coming home a few minutes earlier. The moment he entered the room, he saw 2 white thighs swaying by the side of the bed. He looked up and saw Ling Jieling wrapped in a bath towel. It was obvious that she was trying to incite a young man to commit a crime. Furthermore, she was holding a pair of panties in each hand. One was purple with lace, and the other was white and cute. Ling Jieling was dumbfounded. There was no way she could escape in her current attire. If she walked too far, the towel would burst open. She looked awkwardly at Su Yun, who had suddenly barged in. Scarlet blushed and said, "Crown Prince, didn't you say you needed 15 minutes? This is... Sister Jieling, you didn't tell me you were coming out to change clothes." Su Yun raised his head to control his nosebleed. I'll go sit in the living room. You do what you need to do." Fortunately, the suite was bigger. There was a wall separating the living room and bedroom to block the view. Although Ling Jieling trusted Su Yun's character and knew that he wasn't the kind of person who would peek at her while she was changing, she still couldn't accept the feeling of changing clothes here. She didn't care about her underwear anymore. She casually picked up the purple lace one and ran back to the bathroom with her pajamas. Her face that had just been washed off by the cold water started to heat up again. It was unbearable. Moreover, she was sweating due to her nervousness and agitation. Sigh, the shower just now was probably for nothing. Ling Jieling shook her head helplessly. Her young master really did things differently from ordinary people. Actually, she should have been able to tell that earlier. She couldn't believe that this was the 3rd night that this man had slept in the same bed with her. Yet, he hadn't mentioned anything about sex to her. Chapter 263. It wasn't that Su Yun didn't want to touch her, but he really wasn't in the mood. Ever since he came to Suong, the things he faced and these people weren't easy to deal with. He only thought about how to deal with Green Ghost and how to use Wong Rupeeing. How could he have the time to think about these things between men and women that would only be missed after eating and drinking? Ling Jieling changed her clothes and walked out. The atmosphere in the room was obviously awkward with a hint of ambiguity. Crown Prince, why did you come back so quickly? Ling Zhiling's words sounded like she was complaining, but there was no hint of complaint or blame in her expression and tone. Su Yun shrugged helplessly. Maybe it's because I like to do things quickly? Or perhaps, Brother Dong said that he was going to buy some supper, so I told him to hurry up and come back since I had nothing to do. Seeing Ling Zhiling's mouth open and speechless, Su Yun changed the topic. Don't worry, Brother Dong also brought 2 portions for us. He's quite familiar with suong and knows what's good and what's unique. Eating at this time will not only affect your figure, but also your digestive system. Crown Prince, eating at night isn't a good habit. Ling Zhiling frowned. She wouldn't eat anything at this time unless she was very hungry. She would only choose low-fat milk, oatmeal, soda biscuits, and the like. You ate quite a lot tonight. The food I ate tonight has already been digested. Su Yun was definitely the kind of person who lived at home. He wouldn't be as stupid as Pierce to only eat Huaxia's spaghetti for such an expensive buffet. That would be a classic example of a brain problem. Su Yun stuffed seafood into his mouth, along with various pork, beef, mutton, and colorful fruits. Finally, there was a bowl of egg soup. Of course, he also helped Pierce finish half a bottle of whiskey. In any case, Su Yun felt that this meal was worth it. However, when he went to find Wu Yuandong just now, he heard that Wu Yuandong was going to buy some food at the famous barbecue restaurant. Su Yun's gluttony rose again, so he asked Wu Yuandong to bring some food for him. If it was barbecue, Ling Zhiling would definitely not accept it. And what Wu Yuandong brought back was indeed the barbecue she couldn't accept. Although she really wanted to persuade Su Yun not to eat meat or greasy food at night, she held back and didn't say anything when she saw how much Su Yun was enjoying the food. I'm not a woman, and I'm not afraid of losing my figure. It's fine to eat it once in a while. Su Yun laughed as he ate. Do you want to try it? It tastes great. Ling Zhiling shook her head helplessly. She should go to sleep first. When Su Yun mentioned the word figure, she couldn't help but think of the scene when Su Yun walked out of the bathroom with a towel wrapped around his lower body. God really liked to play tricks on people. Ling Zhiling lay on the bed and looked up at the ceiling. How many men had wanted to get her on their bed? She had used her smooth and slick ways to resolve it. Not a single one of those men hadn't been thinking about her and drooling even now. And for the past 2 days, as long as the man lying beside her asked to push her down at any time, she didn't think that she would really refuse. Perhaps she would just let herself be lost once. Perhaps in the beginning, Ling Zhiling still wanted to use Su Yun's unspoken rules to help her achieve her ambition that she didn't even dare to think about. She wanted to have a taste of being a crown prince's concubine. But now, she gave up. She really gave up. Even if Su Yun only wanted to have a night of passion with her, she might not refuse. She admitted that she couldn't resist Su Yun's masculine charm at all. Ling Zhiling only hoped that when she went to shoot the commercial tomorrow, she wouldn't get too into character. Otherwise, she might really want to seduce him. This was probably Zhua Meiyan's biggest taboo. Ling Zhiling knew this very well, but there were always times when people couldn't help themselves. Thinking of this, Ling Zhiling took a deep breath and tried to calm her breathing. Sleep. Don't think about it. The more you think about it, the easier it is for something to happen. How could Ling Zhiling, who said she was going to sleep, fall asleep? She always hoped that Su Yun would secretly hug her after he went to bed. However, when she finally waited until Su Yun went to bed, Su Yun was still lying on the other side of her. This wasn't because Su Yun wasn't a man. Su Yun was also conflicted. He wasn't a fool. Of course, he could see that some of Sister Ling Zhiling's actions were seductive. Especially today, when she was wrapped in a bath towel and revealed her long legs. That feeling really made Su Yun want to push her down on the spot. But he still felt that something was wrong. Zhua Meiyan was so assured to let him go out with a demoness like Ling Zhiling. Could it be that she had other thoughts? Bear with it, bear with it. Although Su Yun felt that he could eat all the grass in and around the nest because he was a rabbit with power, it was better to sleep early now. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow would be the first time they filmed something on the screen. They had to be 120% alert. The night passed uneventfully, but the two of them didn't sleep very well. To put it bluntly, this was called each having their own ulterior motives. Of course, this phrase was indeed a little inappropriate. If the two of them were thinking of taking advantage of each other, it would still be acceptable. But the two of them were thinking the opposite. They were trying their best to avoid having any kind of unclear relationship with each other. They washed up and changed their clothes as if it was a routine. After breakfast, they went directly to the filming location of the advertisement, which was the newly renovated flagship store for Wilsna's underwear. The 2 floors were more than 1,000 square meters. If this set of underwear didn't sell for 7,000 to 8,000, or 30,000 to 50,000, it would really be a waste of such a large-scale investment. It was a luxury item. Soo-yoon really wondered who would buy this kind of clothing. It was simply a waste of money to wear it on the inside. It was said that money should be spent on the edge of the blade. That meant that it should be shown on the surface. So what if you wore a set of underwear that cost 100,000? Wouldn't it still be covered by the jacket outside? Woo Yuan-dong shook his head at Soo-yoon's theory and told him that there would definitely be people who would buy it. Nowadays, there were too many rich people and rich second generations. They had so much money that they could spend it casually for a few hundred years. It was understandable that they would buy a few pieces of luxury underwear to give to those green tea cheese. Besides, this store wasn't really built to make money. It was just to create international influence. People were investing in the brand value. After listening to the 2 days of talk, Ling Jiling expressed that it didn't matter. What she wanted to say was, if the economic conditions allowed, why couldn't women treat themselves better? There was no need to make a fuss about wearing expensive underwear. There were still quite a lot of people in this world who cared about the quality of life. Soo-yoon continued to pour cold water on her, telling her that 99% of the people in Huaxia were ordinary people. Such an exaggerated quality of life was probably only enjoyed by the rich and high-ranking officials. Because the shooting of the commercial was tomorrow, and today was just a simple photo shoot, Pierce didn't come to the scene. Since he had promised to do this commercial, he had to keep his word. Soo-yoon really didn't expect that one day he would stand in front of the camera wearing only underwear. The makeup team on the scene quickly helped them change their appearance. Then, someone began to send the clothes one by one to the changing room. Ling Jiling had to change into about 17 or 18 sets of underwear. In comparison, Soo-yoon was much more relaxed. 5 sets. It should be 5 pieces of clothing. Black, white, blue, floral, and text. They were all simple designs. However, the material was really good. It was quite comfortable to wear. Soo-yoon lamented that the slogan of the commercial should not only be, "It is necessary to give the most important care to the woman," but also, "It is necessary to give the most important care to the younger brother." Compared to the non-professional Soo-yoon, professional actors were much more skillful. Under the spotlight, Ling Jiling didn't feel embarrassed at all. She could clearly distinguish between work and life. If they were in a hotel room now, she really couldn't bring herself to wear underwear and lie on top of Soo-yoon, who was only wearing underwear. But now it was working time. Although her heart would still beat a little faster, she could control her emotions very well. Soo-yoon was different. If Soo-yoon didn't have some powder on his face, one could probably see the blush on his face. It was the first time that he wore so little and was watched by so many people. He was already very uncomfortable. Now, Ling Jiling had to hug him from left and right. Soo-yoon secretly kept breathing deeply. He must control his little brother and not make a fool of himself. At this time, if the little girl held her head high and puffed out her chest, he would really have to hide his head in his crotch and run away with his tail between his legs. Several girls in charge of makeup were dressed so enchanting. They didn't shy away from praising Soo-yoon's figure. When they were doing makeup, they intentionally or unintentionally rubbed against Soo-yoon. Some of the bolder ones even directly puffed out their chests to take advantage of him. Soo-yoon really felt that society had changed. Although it couldn't be said that morality had fallen into the abyss, it was the rhythm of broken moral integrity. There were many perverts in society, but this was the first time that Su Yun had encountered a perverted woman with a perverted chest. Fortunately, the makeup artists were all women. If it were a man, Su Yun would definitely have goosebumps all over his body. Professional actors were indeed professional actors. Every time Ling Jiling took a break, she would cheer for Su Yun and praise him for his very good performance and super charming. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many girls staring at Su Yun when they were shooting. Su Yun really felt that this feeling was like pushing him to the bar stage to perform pole dancing. It was so awkward. However, after these dozens of photos were taken, Su Yun gradually began to find the feeling. That was, he didn't treat the surrounding girls as living creatures. He completely treated them as air. This way, he wouldn't feel anything. Later, his little brother also worked hard. He was no longer tempted. If there was anything, it could wait until after the photos were taken. After returning to the hotel, Su Yun went out of the hotel alone again and dialed Zhu Laohei's number. Where is Wang Ruping now? Master Yen. Wang Ruping is alone now. He is eating hot pot in Heidaleo next to Fugui Garden. Zhu Laohei was absolutely respectful towards Su Yun's phone call. Who would dare to imagine that this big man was also a fierce person with a violent temper who kept his word? Alone? Su Yun was stunned. Zhu Laohei nodded. Yes, Master Yen. He came to work today and just stood there for a while. Then he went home alone. At noon, he also came here to eat hot pot alone. I didn't expect that he would come here again in the evening. I got it. I'll go look for him in a while. If he leaves before I arrive, inform me immediately. Su Yun continued to instruct. Also, even if I'm here, keep an eye on him. Zhu Laohei had not eaten a proper meal for 2 consecutive days, but he still obediently nodded his head in agreement. In fact, he missed the little slut that he had raised. But since Grandpa Yen had already given the order, he did not dare to disobey. If he was really caught, he might not be able to get out in this lifetime. Wang Ruping, the director of 5 Poisons, was really worried about Su Yun's task. Now when he thought of Su Yun and Green Ghost, he felt that the mutton in front of him was really difficult to swallow. Su Yun had asked him to lure Green Ghost out, and he had no other way. However, he didn't expect to receive a call from Green Ghost in the afternoon. Green Ghost told him that his subordinates had helped him find a woman. She was a female model who was shooting an advertisement at some Wilsna lingerie flagship store today. Originally, Wang Ruping was going to ask around and then send the person to Green Ghost. But when he asked around, he was shocked. It wasn't a female model, but the female star, Ling Jiling. Now that Wang Ruping already knew the relationship between Ling Jiling and Su Yun, he didn't dare to touch this woman at all. Green Ghost proposed this condition now probably because he didn't fulfill his promise at the beginning. Now, he was pressuring him again. This was simply forcing him to his death. Right now, Wang Ruping didn't know who had the upper hand between Su Yun and Green Ghost, so he didn't dare to offend either of them. Even a fence-sitter like him could feel the wind, while a fence-sitter like him had completely lost himself in this calm sea. After so many years of political struggles, Wang Ruping was able to climb to his current position because he never stood in the wrong position. Every time, he could stand in the right team, so he had been doing well for so many years. Now, Wang Ruping was facing the most difficult choice in his life. He really didn't know how to choose. Just as Wang Ruping was frowning and watching the beef in the pot disappear, a figure sat down opposite him. He picked up a pair of chopsticks and put it into the pot. Wang Ruping, who was muddle-headed, suddenly became alert. He looked at Su Yun, who suddenly sat in front of him with a shocked face. Soon, he calmed down after the shock. Yes, Wang Ruping had to admit that Su Yun could find him anywhere. This feeling was really terrifying and helpless. Tell me, have you thought of any ideas? Su Yun picked up the cooked mutton and stuffed it into his mouth. You've eaten hot pot twice a day. You should have some ideas, right? Wang Ruping's face was full of bitter smiles. I really don't have any ideas. Why don't you just kill me? Did Green Ghost give you some problems again? Su Yun put on a serious face. If it was only pressure from his side, Wang Ruping probably wouldn't say such things. Looking at his frown, the pressure probably wasn't as simple as that. Wang Ruping raised his head and looked at Su Yun. After a while, he gritted his teeth and admitted defeat. Fine, I'll say it. What's there to be afraid of? Anyway, he was already in a situation where there was a wolf in front and a tiger behind. There was no way out. He was going to die anyway. Yes, Green Ghost did give me a problem. He said he took a fancy to the female model who was shooting the female underwear advertisement in Wilsna today. Wang Ruping didn't avoid Su Yun's gaze because he didn't know that the male model was Su Yun. I asked around. The female model Green Ghost mentioned is Miss Ling Jiling. The veins on Su Yun's temples throbbed. And then? What do you plan to do? If I wanted to do as he said, I wouldn't have told you about this. Wang Ruping said, but now, Green Ghost only gave me 2 days of time. He said that if I couldn't send Ling Jiling to him in 2 days, then he would make a big move in the development zone. Because the local boss of the development zone, Master Pai, was just released from prison 2 days ago. He didn't know what was happening in Su Hong's underground world. He said that he would teach the guy who took down Feng Qiansui a lesson. Green Ghost isn't someone that an old guy like Master Pai can handle. I don't want any more trouble in Suong, so I begged Green Ghost not to go too far. But Green Ghost's condition is Ling Jiling. If I can't help him deal with Ling Jiling, then he will find someone to kill Master Pai's entire family. If such a big case happens in Suong, I won't be able to sit in this position. Su Yun sneered. He had heard of Su Hong's Master Pai, a local boss who made fake medicine. He was sentenced to 8 years. It didn't matter if he died, but it was too much to implicate his family. But from Wang Ruping's words, it seems like he really wants to make a move on Ling Jiling. One must know that Ling Jiling is the woman by Su Yun's side. What Su Yun can't stand the most is the people by his side being hurt, especially women. Wang Ruping saw that Su Yun's body suddenly emitted a faint killing intent. He couldn't help but shiver. Of course, he was afraid of Su Yun. Su Yun looked at Wang Ruping coldly. Then what do you want? Of course I don't dare. Wang Ruping naturally wouldn't be stupid enough to tell the truth. Su Yun sneered again. I know what you're thinking. You cannot admit it, but you better not do it. If you do, I promise you'll regret it until you feel like you shouldn't have been born. Wang Ruping knew that Su Yun wasn't joking. He shook his head vigorously. I promise I won't let anyone do anything to Miss Ling Jiling. I promise. Su Yun threw his chopsticks on the table. Then have you thought of a way to lure Green Ghost out? Wang Ruping was frowning when his eyes suddenly lit up. He had a flash of inspiration and thought of a very idea. I have an idea, but I don't dare to say it. If I say it, don't get angry. Su Yun frowned. Okay, tell me. If it's really a good idea, I promise I won't get angry. I want Miss Ling Jiling to be bait to lure Green Ghost out. Wang Ruping said, I know that you have a good relationship with Miss Ling Jiling. If you can talk to her about this, maybe. Su Yun suddenly stood up and grabbed Wang Ruping's collar. Don't even think about it. What kind of evil idea are you thinking? Wang Wudu, let me tell you. If I find out what kind of moths you're up to, don't blame me for being ruthless. Chapter 265. At this point, Wang Ruping was no longer someone who cared so much about his face. Although it was the first time he was yelled at in front of so many people, he really couldn't get angry. He hugged Su Yun's hands that were grabbing his collar and said nervously, Let go. I only spoke to you because you promised that you wouldn't get angry. I had no choice. What do you want me to think of? What else can I think of? This is the only way I can think of now. Su Yun didn't want their reaction to affect the appetite of the other guests, so he let go of Wang Rupieng's collar and sat down. However, his tone still didn't calm down. I'm warning you. Don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. You really don't know. You're wronging me, do you know that? Wang Rupieng seemed to have suffered a great grievance. If I wanted to use Ling Zhiling as a hostage to protect my own safety, do you really think I would be stupid enough to tell you directly? Su Yun looked at Wang Rupieng's aggrieved face and really wondered if he had wronged him. However, he really couldn't trust Wang Rupieng. It's because I know you're not stupid and you still don't understand your own position that I suspect you. Wang Rupieng, if you think it's better to continue working with Green Ghost, then I won't stop you. Please do as you wish. Don't think that you're the only one I can work with. Wang Rupieng was slightly startled. Of course, he knew that he wasn't the only person Su Yun had contact with after entering Suong. If the final winner was Su Yun, then he, who had been abandoned, would definitely not have a good ending. Wait, listen to me first, then you can make your decision. Wang Rupieng explained to Su Yun, I said to let Miss Ling be the bait because she's the best bait now. If you want to lure the snake out of its hole, it's impossible without the thing it likes the most. Usually, he can find me or others to send the things he likes to him. However, what if Miss Ling Zhiling doesn't go? You can't invite him, but that doesn't mean that the others he finds won't use despicable means to capture you. Su Yun said, Green Ghost has no moral character to speak of. You yourself know that he doesn't only have you, this one lackey. You're not the only one with power in Suong. You're not the only one who can get in touch with Ling Zhiling. Wang Rupieng continued, so if you want to lure Green Ghost out, you have to use my method. I will tell him that I can't invite Miss Ling. If he finds someone else to invite her, Miss Ling must reject him. If someone wants to use force, I believe that your people have the ability to protect her, right? That way, Green Ghost will give up on the idea of inviting Miss Ling to his house. At that time, I'll tell him that I've already made an appointment with Miss Ling. Then, we'll have a meal together, and I'll help him get it. In that case, I believe that the lecherous Green Ghost has no reason not to come out. Thinking about it carefully, Wang Rupieng's words made sense. As long as Su Yun was there, no one could take Ling Zhiling away openly. Green Ghost would naturally want to do it himself if he was anxious. This was definitely a risky move to win. If he didn't do it well, it was very likely that he would go for wool and come home shorn. But if he didn't do that, was there a better way to lure Green Ghost out? If there was, Su Yun wouldn't have had such a headache these days. Since there was no other way, wasn't this also an attempt? Ling Zhiling asked him again and again if he needed her help. Su Yun suddenly felt that this might be an arrangement. He was afraid that he really needed Ling Zhiling's help to deal with this matter. He only needed an hour. As long as Green Ghost left his nest for an hour, Su Yun would be able to turn the world upside down for him. Moreover, Su Yun was almost certain that Cho Yan must be in Feng Chensue's villa that Green Ghost occupied. This also narrowed the scope of his search. Let me think about it. Su Yun had to plan Wang Rupieng's method into the next step of the plan, but he wouldn't act so rashly. He had to make the whole plan orderly and do his best to ensure Ling Zhiling's safety. Most importantly, this matter had to be approved by Ling Zhiling herself. If someone was used as bait without knowing anything, Su Yun would feel completely guilty. Seeing that Su Yun had this thought, Wang Rupieng continued, If you're sure, I'll tell Green Ghost tomorrow that I can't invite Miss Ling. I hope you can also tell Miss Ling about this matter. If Green Ghost knows that I lied to him, it seems that you're still afraid that Green Ghost will be the final winner. The corner of Su Yun's mouth raised slightly, revealing a smile that was both good and evil. Then I'll tell you, as long as Green Ghost comes out, he'll lose for sure. So you'd better concentrate and stop being a fence-sitter. Otherwise, it won't be good for anyone. In the end, you'll still lose what you don't want to lose. Wang Rupieng's thoughts were exposed, but he didn't refute. He just nodded and didn't say anything. Suddenly, he felt a big stone in his heart fall to the ground. Wang Rupieng buried his head and stuffed a bowl full of mutton into his mouth. He was hungry. He hadn't eaten anything all day, Su Yun quietly watched Wang Ruping eat and drink. After that he said to him, "Then tell Green Ghost tomorrow that you can't invite her out." "Who do you think he'll find to help him invite Ling Jiling?" "He'll probably find Tang Huabin from the police station. He's the chief of the police station. I have a good relationship with Tang Huabin. After all, public security and justice are closely related, so I know that he's very close to Green Ghost." Wang Ruping said, "The possibility of other people will be ruled out later, but I promise that if I say that I can't handle it, the first person he'll find will be Tang Huabin." Su Yun said coldly, "That time when Ling Jiling and I were asked to leave the hotel by the police, it should be you who told Tang Huabin to come, right?" Wang Ruping's face was awkward. Both of them were chiefs and secretaries. They could be said to be the people who could cover the sky with one hand in Suong. They were also the people who supported his management method of using evil to control evil the most. There was once a writer who wrote a satirical article about them. He said that many people were used to wearing a bai xie that looked like a lion with wings on their waist. This legendary mythical beast had a ferocious face. Could it really scare away evil? Some leaders believed in using evil to control evil. They used evil tyrants to protect the peace of the area and fertilize the evil grass. These county officials Wu and county officials Li were fearless and did evil. If there was a place where the evil people coughed and spat were like jade, then could the good people still count on Qin Hui to protect them? If the people in power of a country were all righteous people, then the evil people who counted on Qin Hui to protect them would be useless even if they kowtowed until they broke their heads. Okay, Wang Ruping, if you lure Green Ghost out, then it will be considered as atonement for your crime. When the time comes, you better give me evidence of Tang Huabin colluding with the underground forces. If that's the case, I think I can still give you credit." Su Yun smiled slightly. He liked to see a dog-eat-dog scene. As expected, Wang Ruping's eyes lit up. "Are you serious?" "If I like to lie, then I wouldn't know that you were eating hot pot here," Su Yun said. Wang Ruping could hear that Su Yun was mocking him for daring to suspect that he was being watched that day. "Speaking of this, since I have cooperated with you so much, can you remove the surveillance on me? I keep feeling like someone is watching me. I can't sleep well at night." "I think you are afraid of talking about the evil things you have done in your sleep, right?" Su Yun said bluntly. "When this is over, naturally no one will be watching you. Remember what I told you just now. Organize a piece of evidence of Tang Huabin's crimes. This is the best evidence to help you get rid of the crime. Do you understand?" Of course, Wang Ruping understood the meaning of Su Yun's words. If he could save himself by pulling Tang Huabin down, he would definitely do so without hesitation. Although they were in the same boat, as long as he erased the evidence of his actions, leaving only Tang Huabin's evidence, then Tang Huabin would commit another crime of colluding with Green Ghost to kidnap a female star, and he would not be able to escape. I will definitely organize the details of Tang Huabin's collusion with the underground forces and the evil forces in detail. Wang Ruping seized the opportunity to make a contribution. Of course, he wouldn't give up. He was an old fox and knew how beneficial it was for him to do so. "Then you eat slowly. If there is anything, contact me tomorrow." After Su Yun finished speaking, he got up and left the restaurant. With Zhu Laohei paying attention to Wang Ruping's whereabouts, Su Yun was relieved. Now, what he needed to do was to persuade Ling Jiling and get Ling Jiling's help. This matter was very dangerous. He really didn't know how to tell Ling Jiling. If Green Ghost didn't play by the rules, Ling Jiling would be the first direct victim. Su Yun took a taxi and circled around Su Hang before returning to the Waltz Hotel. He stood in front of the door for a long time because he didn't know how to start, so he didn't know if he should go in or not. In the end, Su Yun took a deep breath and opened the door and walked in. Seeing Su Yun come back, Wu Yuandong was finally relieved of his identity as the bodyguard of such a seductive beauty like Ling Jiling. He got up and said, "Have a good rest," then quickly left the private room and went back to his room. Ling Jiling said excitedly, "I just received some unedited photos from Titch Online. I like unedited photos the most, because I think they are more realistic. Some photos that are too perfect for me, because they are too perfect and unreal. Come and have a look. You were quite nervous at the beginning. You are so cute. Cute. Soo-yoon really didn't understand why this woman would use such a word to describe himself. Was he cute when he was only wearing underpants? How could he be cute when he was nervous at the beginning? Soo-yoon was worried that some parts of the photo would be too protruding. This was truly a disgrace to his grandmother's house. Well, look at this. Why are you clamping your legs so tightly? It's like you want to go to the toilet. Ling Jieling pointed at the computer and laughed. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.